know, the longest river in Denmark runs through here, 176 kilometers long, and came to existence some 15,000 years ago. The town square with the old town hall. It's not that old. The town hall built back in 1857, but the town square it lies on newly updated and is a must-see. But of course, curling as well, as USA plays Sweden. Session 14. My name's Sander Ulvåg, and I'm joined by curling extraordinaire Anne Swisshelm.
Thank you, Sander. It's good to be here with you.
Sweden being honored this evening. Du gamla, du fria. The national anthem of Sweden has been played. They received some gifts from the local organizing committee. And there's, of course, some Swedes in as well. Not too far away from Sweden here in Denmark. It's a bit quiet before the storm as Sweden just receiving some treats. It must be nice to hear your national anthem before coming into the game. As we look at the lineups for USA this evening at lead, Monica Walker. Throwing second stones, Taylor Anderson. At third, Sarah Anderson. Team USA will once again be skipped by Jamie Sinclair. And the lineup for Sweden at lead, Sofia Måbergs. Throwing second stones, Agnes Nockenhauer. Third and vice skip for Sweden, Sara McManus. And team skip for Sweden, it is Anna Hasselborg. Well, look at Sweden alone on top at 6-1, followed by China, Korea, and Russia all at 6-2. Switzerland, Canada, Scotland, and USA with 4 wins. While Germany, Japan needing to pick up the pace. Denmark, Finland, and Latvia looking a bit out of the playoff picture as it lies. And these are the other games this evening. Russia play Germany. China will play Switzerland. Also Japan to play Finland. We'll keep our eyes on those games as well and give you updates as we go along. But it is the USA-Sweden game that will grab most of our attention as we see the games are now ready to go. The players, the athletes are quite ready to get this one started.
Yeah, this is a key matchup for Sweden, keeping their winning ways going. They dropped 1 game to open the round robin and have been getting stronger and stronger with each successive game. And for the United States, this is a critical matchup to keep their playoff hopes alive. And it's just going to be a really fun game for USA to play. They're playing against the Olympic champions, and they're going to need their very best effort tonight. It would be a perfect time for them to bring that best effort. Yeah, so as everyone gets settled in and ready to play their game, there's team meetings beforehand. Sweden had an extraordinary last stone draw. And they will start this matchup with the last stone advantage.
Men noll här tycker jag. Jobba för det. Och jobbar vi inte för det så jobbar vi 2. Så vi till att hålla mitten öppen.
See that draw shot challenge, fantastic by Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, both teams really came here. They had super practices, great last stone draws. And Monica Walker will get the United States underway.
Bringing this one into the rings. Team USA not taking advantage of the free guard zone
3-7.
with their first rock here, and it will be up to Sweden. If they want to make the hit or throw a guard, they will play the hit. Nothing too fancy early on, as we see Sofia Måbags, 25 years old, Olympic champion, looking to become world champion as well.
And that stone hits a little thinly, spins out of the rings. This gives USA an opportunity. They're not going to activate that free guard zone. And the free guard zone is the area in front of the rings. USA is going to keep this simple. Have Monica Walker put another rock into the top of the forefoot.
Top 12. Running. 4-5. Barzil go 6. Barzil go. Yep. 3. Yep. Bring it in, guys. Yep. Hard. Gotta go. Hard all the way. Go, 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 go. Hard.
With this stone sitting a little long and a little high, you might see a corner guard come.
There it is. 16. 25. Sorry. Bra linje! Slapp! Bra fart! Slapp! Bara med! Slapp! Bra fart! Gå väldigt rakt! Bra fart! Jag tycker den är där. Kolla upp där. Väldigt bra.
Calling this shot to freeze down. It comes up a little bit short, but the angles are interesting here. USA has got to be careful. They're going to go for the hit and roll, but they've got to be careful that they don't jam this object rock onto the back one.
Taylor Anderson.
All the way, all the way, all the way.
Will perhaps jam here. But do they make the roll? Pretty good roll.
Yeah, that is a pretty good roll. Super sweeping by Monica Walker to hold that line. But you can see now all of a sudden Sweden's got the opportunity. They played this hit along this line on the first stone of the end.
Agnes Knockenhauer. Chase it. Might be some fresh pebble along the center line. First end, quite typical. Might grab a bit. And I think they know that quite well. Been around the block a few times, these girls. They know exactly how the ice is going to look in this first end. And that's a perfect shot to start off the game for Knockenhauer.
Yeah, they are very comfortable on arena ice and these conditions. They've played a number of championships in this kind of environment.
What's that rock in the back there? She jammed it. 9-7.
So the rules of play, 10 ends are scheduled. 6 ends are the minimum amount of time that the athletes will play. They each get 38 minutes of thinking time in which to complete those 10 ends. And if they need it, they get a 160-second timeout where they can have their coach come out and help them work through scenarios.
Bättre fart. Wow! Rent! 11-3. Wow! Wow!
This rock has quite a bit of rotation on it. It's taking its time. And that might not have curled enough. A rare mistake out of the Olympic champions here. USA suddenly has a chance for a double and potentially forcing Sweden to a single point.
There's Sarah Anderson.
All the way
Another big scrub from Team USA. Can't quite hold it, can't quite make the double. But the shooter will stick. And the 8-foot.
Given this same ice on every shot, though. What? Given the same ice on every shot, you're hitting it. Okej, spela lite mer då! 10-7! Ja. Lite slit ändå, så jag kan tänka mig mindre.
So half shot followed by half shot, and suddenly advantage back to the hammer.
Sara McManus.
10-3! Wow! Mycket fart! Helt okej! 10-3! Wow! 10-3! Agnes rent! Ja! Wow! Agnes rent bara. Fint. Härligt. Jättefin fart. Bra fart. 10-7. Ja, bra sats. Jag ville bara vara med en lite. Bra. Lite dumpad, Anna. Ja, bra. Ja. 9-5. 9-2. Solid normal. No. No.
This will curl at the end,
Any roll? No, nothing.
but not enough. They were hoping to roll all the way to the right side of the rings.
10-7. Jättefin fart. Lite mer, va? Samma fart! Samma fart! Bra fart! Nej! Låt dig jobba! Fin fart! Lite hårdare på köp. 11. Lite insida köp. Bra.
Well, still some good separation, but it might be enough angle for a double if USA wants to take it on. For now, they look pretty content with the hit and roll.
Straight on this side. Yep.
But if you ever over curl, that's always an option.
And that's really the responsibility of the third to kind of take in what those options are.
Try to get the roll in front. Yep. Is this normal? Yeah.
I think you want to play enough weight
Roll in
that you can make the double if you over curl. You don't want to play so much weight you actually roll over the top either. Be tough to do though. Normal is the weight call for Jamie Sinclair.
Yes! Hard! You got it. Hard! Hard! Yep, go!
Just a bit too thin, runs underneath that yellow.
Good try. Close one. Sweet. Almost got the double nice shot. So sweet. Sorry. Det finns ingen dubbel då heller. Jag gillar det här. Vill ha lite till eller? Utar? Mindre? Nej, det gick du kan få så om du vill. Jag tror att det där är lugnt eller? Ja, helt lugnt.
Yeah, USA just narrowly missing the double takeout.
Kom på Lotta på det där. Lätt och fint eller? Ja, fint spår. Är det som fridragning eller lite mer va? Nej, men lite mer. Det är inte så här fullt så rinner. Som den var 30 så är det 10. Ja, exakt. Gillar du det? Ja. Men ända ner eller? Ja, lilan är lite till oavsett vad. Ja.
Anna Hasselborg looking to split the rings. Have the chance to put this pretty much anywhere she wants to.
Bra linje, bara er. Bra fart, gå upp och ner. Fin linje. Ser lite lös ut. T-line. Den kan vara väldigt lugn. Bra linje. Ni kan ta en titt tjejer. 14-4. Jobba ner den här. Jobba. Jobba ner den.
Pretty happy with it, just keeping this one alive. Bringing it a bit deeper, so there's no double. It's pretty flat for Jamie Sinclair.
Be shot. Yeah. Are they sitting? Yep. Oh, you're just gonna go. Yeah, right into it. Right beside it. Yeah, just have a nose on it, but. Yeah, we can roll a little your way. It'd be kind of hard. You got them to get it out.
So that's fantastic input from Sarah, pulling her skip over to this side of the ice.
Normal. Okay. You want to roll? The hair high.
Saying what?
just told her, if you hit and roll over here, because Jamie was looking at the open one, you might make Anna Hasselborg's last shot a little bit more difficult.
There's a better chance you'll be lying shot here.
Maybe a touch up.
Playing this yellow
Touch up.
as well.
Hard. Hard. Yes. 9-5. Yes.
Goes over curl a bit. Rolls
That was
to
good weight.
a decent spot actually. Sits for shot stone and
Looked like they released.
Yeah, and this spot in the back of the rings can sometimes be tricky. You don't often play takeouts back there. So you do have a chance here to get a half shot.
Jag tänker att det är lite mer curl här, så har det varit när vi spelade förra gången. Att det var lite mer curl här än vad det var på linan. Det är ganska långt ner i boet också. Var en lugn, fin 10 då.
Lätt spår ändå.
Ja.
Sätter du den?
last stone, first end. Sweden with a chance to come off to a great start with a score of 2.
Från linan typ.
Wow!
Typ 4 tycker jag.
10! Bara tungrent! Wow! Wow!
That is good for the 2. Great shot by Hasselborg.
Härligt. Bra tycker jag bara. Härligt Anna, fint sten. 10-2.
That's exactly the start they wanted.
Skönt att se banan.
2-0 after one end.
Bra.
Var det var
It was off center, yeah.
cool.
It was like wide open, but they played that turn at it, and it was very nice. Okay, so
Put our 2 right back.
yeah,
For sure score.
yeah. I think if it's real good top 4, I think we go delayed.
Okay. I like that.
Just keep that 4 foot
I like
open.
that a lot.
And do you like the take? Oh no, they're not going to guard. They might. I don't know. But if they do, then I like it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Good question.
First stone just landing here in the second end. Sweden scoring 2 in the first. Not sure if that was meant to be a guard there actually. Thought Sweden called for the draw into the house, but that works as well.
Yeah, Sweden is comfortable with a wide open game. They're also comfortable forcing the issue. So experienced and so proficient.
Might be a bit of a hiccup here from Monica Walker. That guard slips into the rings. Didn't curl much. A lot of rotation on that throw. Maybe Just hung on the center line a bit.
Yeah, and that could also be a technique that she's trying. And sometimes if there's an awkward matching of stones out there, if there's a strange pair, you might put them to your lead. And adding extra rotation is a way to carry a stone that might be a little bit slower. You know, obviously that went a little further than they wanted.
Sorry Fia, bra spel. Du satte den bra.
Sweden looking for the roll. They don't get it, so Monica Walker can maybe catch two birds with one stone here. Nosed as rock, and perhaps sit outside the rings as a guard. Looking a little bit wide.
Good weight. Good. Nice.
Does stick around.
Yeah, they get a corner out of that, which is great.
Let's jump on over to Russia, Germany. It is Russia with the last stone here.
Alina Kovaleva has set up a nice end. She's got herself an open hit to score 2 to open this game against Germany. Nice, easy speed, nothing overthrown. Hit squarely, stays in the rings. Great opening end for Russia. They take 2 points and a 2-point lead as they head into the second.
And Agnes Knockenhauer just over curling with her draw. Tackles the center guard.
Nice board. Nice board.
You hear them say board weight.
Board up.
And we hear all
Solid.
kinds of different weight calls, especially for takeouts. Why use different ones? Why not just throw it really hard?
So, well, you can throw it really hard if you want, but that kind of takes the ice out of the shot. So throwing a rock really hard would make it go straighter. Board weight allows you to play the shape of the ice, the natural curl that's happening in the ice, and it also allows you to involve your sweepers a little bit more, so that all 4 of you are playing the shot instead of just the skip and the thrower.
Run back now for Knockenhauer. Yellow on to red. And that's exactly what they get and stay at least half buried there. Beautiful shot. And here's
Same thing.
a guy who's not very Swedish. Not yet.
He is not very Swedish. Wayne Madaw, their coach.
And the guy on the left who is very Swedish, Peja Lindholm, 3-time world champion. Quite a couple of gold medals on the bench for Sweden today, and on the ice.
Yeah, that's quite the bench.
Whoa. All the way, James.
I have to ask if he's picked up the words for the national anthem, Wayne Madaw.
Super shot from Taylor Anderson. Just opening up the center of the ice.
Pete Fenson. He's got a pretty good set of medals in his cupboard as well, I would think. Or in his top his fireplace.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily have a world championship, but he does have an Olympic bronze medal. Something that I think both Wayne Madaw and Peja Lindholm would love to have.
Yeah, missing that one from the collection.
Yeah, speaking about building a collection, that is definitely one of the goals for Team Sweden. The one medal that is missing from their trophy cabinet is a World Championship gold. That is for sure their goal today. And it's going to be Sarah Anderson's job to try and slow down that process for Sweden.
Back line.
So time.
Back line.
Lot
Lot of room.
it's got a lot of room.
Can you go, Mon?
Should I bother?
No, you're not. Yeah, you can go, Mon.
Pretty heavy looking shot here. That one slips all the way past.
Yeah, that was almost hack weight.
Get like a 95.
Huh?
95. Det känns lite greppig den här.
Bra linje!
8!
Bra linje! Raka lätta! Bra fart!
8-4!
Raka lätta! Gå
Two
rakt!
European Championship finals
Håll upp!
8-4!
in a row before the gold
14,5.
was finally theirs
Fart, ligger
in
full 4.
November.
Bra, Sara.
Of course,
Snyggt,
lost
Sara.
the
Grymt.
World Championship
Det
final
känns
as
ändå
well.
min om att jag bara hade kunnat sätta ut den lite.
Exakt, precis.
Så att jag bara så här,
Det låg
Last
jättebra
year.
så du skulle bara liksom till att
It's 10-5.
Let's look on over to Japan. That's playing Finland. Maybe a chance for two for Kitasawa.
Looks up, 10.
Yeah, this is just a
Little up.
delicate weight hit around a center guard.
9-5.
They are second count. So a fantastic opportunity to take 2 points, and that is perfectly executed. Great shot from Kitazawa.
What she said, we didn't say it. We said what?
No, Jamie didn't say anything.
Sweden looking pretty good for a force here.
Yeah, and by a force, it's common terminology for
Alltså jag trixade in
forcing
lite
the team that has the last stone advantage into taking a single point.
stenbanan låg
The
bra.
goal when you have the hammer, that last stone, is to always take 2 points, maybe more. That's the measure of a really successful team. Sweden readily building their 2 points in that first end.
Mycket fart!
Now their job is to force, and they're going to do that by having 2 stones in the rings.
Sa ni 8 här?
Jag tyckte det kändes stenhårt, det är kul.
It's never worth trying to slash double.
You can't risk giving up a
Lite hårdare
multiple
än
point
nu.
score.
3-16.
There is a small chance that
Ja.
you can make something happen for USA. Really, the opportunity for USA was the freeze in the back of the rings to kind of get out of this end. The blank was probably going to happen if that was the case.
10, a little up. Close. Solid. A little up. Yep, yep. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Any roll, any roll. 9-8.
Ja,
Ja, jag gillade det.
ja.
Bara vilka
Kolla,
framstråk
unset med
på
här då.
finalen då. Eller?
Feel like they're playing for the force, USA. Even with a perfect roll there,
Yeah.
Sweden has a pretty easy job of hitting it flying two.
Fart.
Ja.
Unset med kval här då.
Ja.
Yeah, and if you're going to try and run with Sweden,
Har vi råd att
just
unset mer
shot
eller
for
gillar
shot
det?
right now, the way they are shooting, it's
Yeah.
lights out. They are better and better every game.
Tjejerna jobbar med
I think USA is going to have a tough time keeping pace. We can see that already in these early ends. But if you do something maybe a little aggressive, freeze to the back one, do something unconventional, you might generate a little bit of room for yourself to score a couple points.
Wow, wow, wow! Nej, helt uppåt lite Fia, uppåt och jobba. Den försöker.
Rent, japp, japp,
Nej,
japp!
nej, 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 nej.
Japp!
Perfekt.
Bra så.
Snyggt Anna.
Bra Anna.
Härligt, bra. 10-2. Alltså jag bara tänkte,
Väldigt
men vi
fin
ska
stänga
spela 10 alltså.
träning. Ja, verkligen.
Jag tänkte 9 för de sa att vi skulle spela på samma sätt som min.
Vi ska spela 9,5.
Okej, ja.
Similar weight. Last one was about a 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
Right on nose is good.
One of the most competitive people you will meet, Alma Hasselborg.
Yeah, every second she's out there looking to find ways to generate advantage for her team. She is
A little bit more. Whoa,
she is
9 more.
tenacious out there.
No.
I mean, in general, too.
Yes. Yep.
You would never want to play a card game against her.
Right to it.
And that's pretty transferable onto the curling ice, as we see a nice little hit and roll by
One.
Jamie Sinclair. Nibbles the forefoot, scores the 1. That wasn't a number they were looking
Definitely
for,
moves
but
hair more on that side, right?
a long way to go in this one.
Good.
Yeah, I
Sweden
got
off
9/8, so the same weight.
by
Yeah.
the single point
Quite a bit more.
after 2 ends of play.
Good sweep. Okay. I think we go center. They come around freeze.
Okay.
They go corner, we just go right around ours.
Yeah.
So just 2.5.
Pretty good.
Do you have a preference?
Jag gillar runt.
Okay.
3. Yep, Sarah. 3.
3, 3, 2,
Yep.
3. You hear these numbers all the time.
Great
What do
job,
they
guys.
actually mean?
5-3.
These numbers are zones in the field of play, and it goes 1 is the zone directly over the hog line. 2 is the zone in the middle of the free guard zone. 3 is the zone that is just in front of the scoring area. You're not going to see them listed on the ice. The players kind of use their imagination and the natural delineations of the rings to create those numbers.
I heard a rumor that it was implemented by the Furby 4. Is that correct?
Yes, it was implemented by the Furby 4, their numbering system.
Let's go.
All right.
Here you go.
The pretty solid team of Randy Furby, who was pretty supreme in the early 2000s.
Yeah, he had a number of world championships, a great lineup. He was the skip and threw the third rocks. Fourth rock thrower was David Netaway. They were joined by
Huff and Puff.
Yes, Huff and Puff, the great sweepers.
Marcel Rock and Scott Pfeiffer. A lot of teams use that number system nowadays.
Yeah, I think it's actually become the common language for a lot of the players out there. Some teams will use top 8, top 12, top 4, T-line. They will use the actual names of the rings, the 12-foot, the 8-foot, the 4-foot.
Sweden will actually use that system.
The 8-foot, the 4-foot.
Yep. Top 8, back 8, and so on.
Yeah, they mean the same things. It's just a comfort.
Well, the whole point with the system was to be efficient, wasn't
Or
it?
this.
Just say one number instead of a sentence.
Yeah, but it was actually also to be a little bit more precise, right? It was to be very specific, shorten the number of syllables you're yelling down the ice.
Sometimes you hear teams yell out 4.5.
Or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep. Easy forward. Yeah.
That's when you're hoping the weight's okay.
Hard. Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to stay away from this center line guard.
They won't.
That one.
Crashes on it. Shooter will
Wait.
disappear.
She just dropped it at the end.
Yeah.
So no amount of sweeping saved that. And the reason why USA really needed that center guard was a way for them to kind of keep a little bit of control of this end.
Here, different set of numbers when Sweden plays a takeout here. 10.3, 10.1. That would be seconds between the two hog lines.
Jättefint spel.
Use your stopwatch and time, and they will do that in practice quite a lot. They'll throw different hits. They'll time them over and over again. So when Hasselborg asks for a certain time, they can throw exactly that time. And it's very easy for them to then judge the curl.
Yeah, I think that's probably the standard for most teams, practicing that.
I like the way she
One
did
of the
that.
things that's a little bit different about
Great throw, Taylor.
Hasselborg and her team is the proficiency and ease with which they execute it in competition.
She said she loved the way you threw that.
So nothing really in the house here. A chance for Knockenhauer to draw around that yellow stone on the wing. And we'll get the rock clock going. It's between the two hog lines again. And 10 seconds would be way too much, but we're looking for maybe closer to 15 seconds. Sometimes they might even run a bit quicker down the center line. 14.6.
Yeah, that's close. This might slip behind the T line.
De satte den jätteförsiktigt. Gick jättebra.
Doesn't quite
Kind of like
come
that.
around that corner.
You come off the guard. It's
Yeah,
not
that
the end of the
really
world.
didn't curl much at all. Knockenhauer threw wonderful weight, but didn't quite catch any real curl or movement from the inside to the outside edge of the sheet.
She cranked it.
See if this moves for
Monica's going to try and help this move. You can see from the corner, and that is a ton of rotation on that rock.
does make the hit. Rolls towards the center line.
Vill du spela en 11? Det blir samma bana som Fias.
Pretty perfect roll by McManus.
Yeah, and this is going to force Team USA to chase Sweden underneath the corner guard.
I think it's quick here, right? I do too. Like if you throw LSD.
Now we'll get a chance to see a different player throw on this same path. So we saw that 14.6 seconds. We know the ice is quite quick. Now, can Sarah get a little bit of movement and curl
curling.
Hard! Hard! Hard line! Hard! Gotta go!
A bit less weight as well.
Go!
To get it past that corner. In for shot stone. Good sweep.
Yeah, that is fantastic sweeping.
I don't feel it when I'm sleeping. I feel it after. Okay. I didn't get a time on that side.
That is close.
Let's jump on over to sheet D, just next door. Japan is playing Finland.
And Finland sitting count 1. And their skip Onakauste needs a draw for 2 points.
So a pretty spectacular head and roll from McManus on our sheet.
Yeah, sweepers are working to drag this rock past that rock in the top 8 foot, on down into the 4 foot. Well played by Onakauste. Finland grabs a pair in the 3rd and a 1-point lead as they head into the 4th end.
Great curling all over the place here. As we saw, McManus just shave that corner guard even closer than the draw from the USA.
Curls, hit roll.
Yeah.
Rolls over to the button.
Just easy.
Yeah, and just the awareness that Team Sweden has, knowing what shots are available and how to execute them, is just something really that is some of the best in the world right now.
Jamie Sinclair, what you got here? 1 and 2, great double. And that gets you out of trouble.
Yeah, that is timely performance from the USA skip.
Jag gillar det. Jag bara tycker att det var lite svårt att gömma där.
Key sweeping in this end. Line calls, positioning, super shot for Sinclair. Great sweeping by Monica Walker.
På träningen så gick vingarna här rakt.
Okej.
Det ser vi kanske något frostigt ut, men det gick rakt också.
Ja. Det är ju liksom bara en cent innanför chappen.
Ja.
Så om den ligger på chapp så låt den bara komma upp i slutet då.
Ja.
Jag kickar hård 9 bara.
Ja.
Bra fart! In! Wow! In!
Bra fart!
Wow! Wow!
Helt upp! Helt upp!
Helt upp!
Helt upp! Akta bakom, Sara!
It's pretty straight down here.
Okej,
It's going to
Anna.
run 2 straight, rolls out. Weren't quite sure. He said it was probably going to run straight, but at the same time you sit there in the hack thinking, well, tiny bit of frost and pebble out there. Might grab, but
Yeah,
it
might-
just didn't.
Might just grab.
Usually when you go that wide, it is a bit straight.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a bit of a ledge or a shelf out there sometimes. That if the rock's up on top of it, just stays there and runs.
Okay.
And if it jumps off, might catch the curl a little bit.
I think it's minimum broom, but the split's fine.
Yeah, I like that.
Key draw coming up for USA. The half shot from Hasselborg allows Jamie Sinclair to draw underneath the center guard.
Just top.
No, we're there.
Top 8. Line.
14.6 was pretty good weight earlier in the end. This is a bit of a different path, but you would think it's gotta have to be quite similar. 39 might be a tad heavy. We shall see.
Bring it back. Yep. Yep. Hard.
A little slip beyond that T line, but they do get it buried, and that was the most important thing.
Yeah, getting it buried, forcing Sweden to a single point, gives USA the hammer back in the even ends.
Det där borde vara ett av de där lätta.
Det tror jag också. 13-7 där, så det borde vara lite lättare ett
Ja,
steg ut.
absolut.
Det är inte det där rinniga som här, men det är ett vanligt lätt spår.
Ja, precis. 20?
Ja, 15.
Ja.
Bara 14-2 liksom, 14,5.
Ja.
Borde vara bra en swing.
Lägger den på locket, va? Ja.
So the great double by Jamie Sinclair has forced Team Sweden to draw here for a single point in the third end.
Bra fart!
Bra linje.
Känns mjuk och fin, tycker jag. Bra fart!
Kommer in lite.
A couple of the best sweepers in the world right here. They're so in control of the weight. They're just guiding this into the forefoot. Makes it look very easy. That is 1 point for Sweden. They'll still have the lead.
Bra. Jättebra först, härligt.
Back into that 2-point lead they had after the first. It's a 3-1 game after 3 ends.
Så kommer det finnas en där du tittar rakt in i kameran och säger
And that curled nicely actually on Jamie's after it got past that center line.
Yeah, I agree. So we're probably, that's a good force.
So there's a small technical timeout as we start this fourth end. One of the handles on a Swedish stone was maybe a little loose. So the head ice maker, Stefan Roethlisberger, comes out. Check that stone. This could be more than a loose handle. This could be a battery change. Well,
Some swift service here.
yeah, and the reason why that's so important to get to keep the battery working is because there is a sensor in each handle that there's little lights on top of the rock, and when a player releases the rock appropriately, those sensors flash green.
Bra fart. 8.
Okej, bra linje.
8-12.
Linjen är lugn.
Perfekt linje.
8-4.
15, 14-9. Gå, gå. Kom igen, gå, full åtta, full åtta. Gå, 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 full åtta. Okej, bra så.
Bra.
Here you go. Let's do this.
Two. 2.5.
Line good.
2.
Line's really good. 2.5. Perfect. Great judge, guys. Good.
Getting a pretty classic start to this end.
Bra linje, ta det lite lugnt.
85% for Sofia Malmbergs.
Hake.
Agnes! Låt
Right
mig greppa!
at the top of percentages for leads. And
Hake
she
lite kortare.
always is.
Hjälp Agnes!
Find
Hjälp
myself
Agnes. Gå,
watching
gå.
Sweden
Jag går.
play. I never see Sofia miss a shot. She has missed maybe
Gå, gå, gå. Mer
a half
Agnes.
shot or two so far in this game, but she's got to be up there for best leads in the world at the moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt she is performing at a really high level. The last game she played,
Remember, this is a...
94%.
You like that?
I remember
Yeah.
she was in Flames at the World Juniors in 2010. She was a spectator coming in to watch her older brother Patrik play. And that same year, Akmanus and Hasselborg, they were playing the World Juniors, made it to the final, beat Rachel Holman. Little did she know Sofia, 8 years later she would win Olympic gold with those girls she was watching. It's fun to look back sometimes.
Oh, and over curling, a little light.
Kant, kant där, eller?
Let's jump on over to Russia, Germany. Russia up by 2 and putting Germany in some trouble once again.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure against Daniela Jentsch, the skip from Germany. There's 3 stones in the rings. She needs to outcount that to pull within 1 point here early on.
Här, ta god plats. Sitt bisschen weiter aus.
She does have backing she can go to.
Bra linje.
Sweeper's working really hard. The line looks good. It's all about weight now. Great throw. Saving the end.
Linjen då. Vad menar bara Fia?
Hoppa länge.
Låt
Räcker
det vara.
där.
Okej.
Germany's
Bra,
got
bra,
a single point.
Ja, exakt. Bra spelat Agnes. Fint.
Russia 1 up with the hammer as they head into the 4th.
Like right. Like there. Just 3 quarters. Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yes!
Yep.
Oh! Oh!
Come on.
Oh, nice shot.
There you go. Double peel opens it up.
Good sweep.
Very, very needed for USA on the back foot in this end.
She could have caught that rock. She was right there.
Rädda båda.
Fryser de emellan då?
Ja, men borde vara... Ja.
Jag bestämde dig, Anna, jag gillar det.
Det kan de ju egentligen göra om vi lägger gard också, men...
Ja. Klipp då. 0-9 är bra.
Discussion there was peel the guard. They were Just asking the skip if, well, do they freeze the pocket of the 2 yellows? She says yes, they can, but I guess we'll just give them that opportunity. Take off the guard, keep things pretty much in the open.
Yeah, peeling the guard, and how about rolling to a center?
Well, they end up with both.
Yeah, that may not have been the call, but what a wonderful outcome for Sweden.
Yeah, the option was to throw the guard or peel the corner. We end up with both here, Sweden.
I prefer the slash, but... Do you like the slash? Okay. Control. Yep. Oh, yeah.
So Sarah Anderson working furiously to save the line on
Good.
her sister Taylor's shot.
Okay.
Fantastic sweep.
9.
Och det går riktigt rakt, va?
Det kommer lite! Agnes rörde sig fint!
Okej.
Annars vad ska vi din 10?
Lite mer! Nej.
Rent!
Nej!
Rent, ja!
Nej!
Rent! Nära!
Nej!
Wow!
Ja, gå!
Härligt.
Ja, bra skippat Anna. Härligt. 8-8. Härligt. Bra Sara.
Härligt, Sara.
You just ripped the double. Or this over the top. Okay. What way did you go? Forward.
So board weight, that nice down weight takeout for Sarah Anderson.
Nice forward. Easy. Hard.
You can see that Sarah's overall tournament accuracy is down below 70%.
Hard.
Good weight.
And it's just little shots like that, those where she's rubbing on the guard, she's maybe hitting on the high side and rolling out, a little heavy on draws or a little light. Just kind of struggling to connect to the ice surface and its movement here at the Worlds.
Lite tajt.
Lite tajt, men håll i den här.
Håll i den, Agnes!
Hake!
Fin fart!
Mellanhake!
Okej, bara sitta!
Den sitter väldigt mycket nu.
Bara sitta! Bra linje!
Bra linje.
Behöver sitta!
Mellanhake. Ja,
Behöver
mellanhake.
sitta.
Helt okej.
Helt okej linje.
Ja, bara sitta.
Vi kan hålla rent.
Bra. Härligt.
Härligt, bra snackat.
Fint spel. Bra.
Det är riktigt grovt där ute.
Ja, jag förstår det.
Man ser det är proffsigt.
Ja.
Jag tyckte min bara så här stannade så här. Så fick jag på den.
So it's a run double takeout, trying to drive that guard directly back onto the stones in the rings.
Oh! Whoa! Yeah! Yep! Oh! Yeah! Whoa!
Through well.
Did you feel something grab when you threw that? No. Under your rack, it's scratched or your side or something.
China is playing Switzerland. There's no score so far in the game, but I have a hunch there might be one now in the fourth end.
Yeah, there's a good chance. And Wang Rui, fourth stones thrower for Team China. She's looking to angle a stone into the forefoot for a bunch of points. Here goes the tap. Does she have it? Not quite, but doesn't really matter that much. They were already sitting 3 when that stone was thrown. 3 points for China and a 3-point lead as they play the fifth.
Still replacing that guard,
racketen. Fia.
Hasselborg.
Fia.
Bra fot!
Fia,
You know, if they
Sten.
win the Worlds,
Mellan hake, hake!
Fia, Sten.
Oppenhauer, Aquanus,
Behöver korsa
Hasselborg,
dina Fia.
all world junior champions, Olympic gold medalists, would also be world champions. Only one female athlete has done that in the past.
Jennifer, no,
It's a Swede,
it's a Swede. Annette Norberg?
Eva Lund.
She stopped it just
Eva
a little
Lund.
bit when it stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of guys have done
but
it.
I'm just gonna
John Morris, Ben Hebert,
lose
Brad
everything
Gishu,
to make
and
some
Mark
round
Nichols.
Pretty good company.
We play this on at least on the
That club.
on her-
Pretty
on the
exclusive.
garden, right?
Yeah.
On the 4 foot thing.
Or she does a tap, tap, tap.
I think she's talking
But
about the draw.
still a long way to get there, but you would think if the Hasselborg
Inside
team
edge, 3/4 half.
going to play at least one more Olympic cycle, a gold at the World Championship wouldn't be far-fetched at some point. Could be this week already. They're in the groove.
Yeah, and you know, not trying to get ahead of anything, right? And this game is still close. There's still a lot of game to be played here, and a lot of games to be played this week. But just the ease and again the proficiency with which Sweden approaches each of these opportunities out here, each stone they throw, is coupled with you know, you mentioned it, the competitiveness and the joy of playing. And that's really difficult to beat for anybody.
Running this back here, Jamie Sinclair really needs contact. She gets it. That is a pretty good shot. Gets a yellow out. Actually keeps the second yellow fairly open as well. Hard to do a lot more. That was very, very needed.
Jag tror jag gillar den. Jag har mycket mer marginal i fart.
Spelar du säker bakom?
Ja, men, nej, men jag tänker att vi kan optimalt tappar en T-line bara. Men jag har ju marginal att tappa den långt.
Ja, vi vill nästan trycka det hit så vi får lite separation.
Ja, bara inte sticka ut den i ljuset där va?
Nej, nej.
Det där var jag hade på Agnes dragning.
Japan plays Finland, and there's a couple of Japanese counters I see.
Yeah, this is a fantastic opportunity for Japan to open up that scoreboard a little bit, create some space between themselves and Finland, take the lead in this game. They're sitting 2. Kui Kitazawa throws the draw. It's a wide open house. And they draw right down to their own, tap it a little bit, and secure 3 points. Finland will have the hammer when they play the 5th.
Sweden looking for the straight tap on their own yellow. Doesn't curl enough, but if you do line 2,
Yeah,
makes it kind of hard to score maybe for USA.
I mean, that tap was outstanding. To tap it underneath the stone that Jamie Sinclair just threw. It's a difficult stone to hit. The draw is now very tight. You've almost got to draw right down to it and bounce off a little bit.
Would you have one? I got 13, 13, 20.
Here you go.
Patient on the street.
Got to be 3/4 in the 4.
Yeah, okay. Same as LSD here.
Yeah?
Yeah, this path's nice.
Last on fourth end. Kind of a must make, you feel,
Decent ad.
for USA to score and
Might need a rub.
No, nothing yet.
keep them in the game.
Back 8.
Don't want to give Sweden
Back 8.
too
Back 8.
much of an advantage.
Back 8. Coming down.
Back 8 is actually great weight for the shot as long as they have the little rub off the stone in the forefoot.
Is it there? Yes, it is. Beautiful shot by Sinclair and Team USA. They score the single. This game is still wide open, just the 1 point separating the teams. Sweden in the lead with Hammer after 4.
It was a decent ad.
Ja, faktiskt.
Line's good, looks light. 2. Gotta go then. All right, just let it die. This center is good. Good. Good
The
judge,
first
guys.
stone of this fifth end settles on the center line. It's the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019, USA Sweden, session 14. It's a pretty close game, but looking at the team's demeanor, might not always feel that way. The US girls seems a little bit defeated, a little deflated. Wouldn't you think? You're 1 point behind the Olympic gold medalists. Think, well, we're still in this one. Let's keep going. Let's make something happen.
Yeah, and I think talking about energy and attitude and how you drive performance, one of the great gifts of the game is really finding the joy of putting the rocks in play, and that's something that you can see. And maybe these smiles down here right now will give us a good chance at seeing USA kind of loosen up a little bit and just go for it.
4-5. Let it work. 4-5.
Top 4. Line's pretty good. Line's good, top 4.
Looks light. Where is it? 4-5.
Always take.
Come on, guys.
Go, go,
Yeah.
go, go.
Sweden
Go,
slipping
Tay.
behind the tee line
5.
gives USA a chance here
Yep,
to
yep, yep, yep.
put a little pressure,
Great sweep.
and super sweep lines those rocks up perfectly.
Har du något? Du har inget va?
Nej.
Jag tror att den finns där, annars gå i gard bara. Bara en mjuk hack bara.
Ja, det har du.
So back line is the way call. They'd love to tap that stone off the top of the forefoot, but they're okay if they rub the center line guard and create a little bit of space.
Sara!
Kommer ner mycket också.
Sara! Japp!
Gå, gå, gå.
Janet! Go, go, go!
Häng på. Japp, 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 japp.
Just like that, and they leave the shooter in the rings, create some space, super shot.
Bra, Pia.
And while they're working out that front end rocks over on our feature sheet, we'll check out Russia and Germany. Alina Kovaleva and her company from Russia have set up an opportunity here to take a couple of points and open up the scoreboard.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's a hit for 2. They were right off. Did they wait too long? Nope. They waited just enough, managed it well, and Russia's got a 4-1 lead with that score of 2. Our feature game had a hit and roll. It was good. It was so good that Sweden's going to peel the center guard and open things up completely. Try to pull the play into the rings. Now it's going to be USA's turn to put that center guard back. They're sitting 1 and 2. They want control over the center of the ice.
Tight.
3-4. So we talked about that numbering system. 3 is tight to the rings. 4 is all the way into the 12-foot.
Just kind of stops in the middle.
Yeah, so that stone ends up stopping at about a 2. Trying to pick one of the USA stones off the rings. They end up jamming, but they do open up the front.
Nice. Like 2. Line's good. 2.5.
I think that's
Line's
pretty
good, center. Good. Good shot. Good sweep, guys. Good sweep, Mom.
Yeah, you too.
Gillar den där. Alltså nu
Good job. Nice.
gick jag bakom.
Ha lite pass på här. 9,5.
Ja.
Very precise weight calls they use. Inside their 9.5 seconds, 10 seconds, 10.5 or 11. Usually pretty spot on as well. This one rolls a bit too far.
Okay.
10?
Yeah.
So we do like corner? I know.
That kind of precision, though, that speaks to just how
Top 4, top 8.
confident they are in their own abilities. You'll hear other teams going full second, or even saying things like, you know, a 9-10, where they give themselves a larger window.
Nice.
By narrowing that window, it just speaks to their confidence in their own ability.
6. Got room.
Hack
5,
peel.
6.
That's a pretty big window, Sander.
7, 6. 5, 6. Okay, line's
I
getting
need
better.
it,
Piece of the
so.
4. Yep.
If I remember correctly, you're a world champion, and I've got a feeling you didn't do that by throwing hack peel.
Sit there, Sarah. Sorry, Sarah.
You would be surprised.
Middle pass again.
Down there. Still a good spot. Yeah.
Pretty good draw here by USA, putting Sweden in some trouble finally.
Yeah, 2 great shots from Sarah, and I've got to admit, I'm really rooting for her to make a couple in a row like that a couple of times and get back to the level of performance we know she's really capable of.
Eller vicka på den här.
Ja, precis. Jag ser ju inte mycket av den alls. Den är typ helium.
Nej, jag spelade ju den så. Gadden är väldigt hög.
Ja, jag lär ju spela där.
Ja, du har
precis,
lite
det är
här.
lite där för dem.
okej,
Det är bara att det
Det är
sitta
mer
där.
kalla.
Det känns ju som det här, men det är klart att det är...
Det blir trångt.
Ja. Vill du ta time?
Nästa alternativ då?
Vill du ta time?
Ja.
Timeout here.
Very
Jag tänker om vi
interesting.
gör den här så
So
ligger vi ändå och står på den.
Jag tycker bara att det är ett väldigt svårt slag.
See, that's the walking time that Wayne Middaugh is allowed.
Alltså,
So
man vill ju
the
bara lyfta
actual
upp.
60-second timer doesn't start until he gets there and starts talking to the girls.
14-16 så poäng. Frihetsdragning gick jättefint fartmässigt.
Essentially, the timeout is a bit more than 60 seconds.
yeah, but he does have a way to go. He's got to go all the way around, down to the end of the bench, all the way down to the far end of the ice.
Är det bara vi eller?
Ja, alternativet är då att klippa. För om man
for the most part, just sitting there all week, so
bara en etta hela tiden.
Ja, och då kan man gå på den här marginalen
why not
ganska
a little bit of
dyrt.
exercise?
Jag bara tänker, om man gillar det, om det här är svårt men
Ja,
att det är ett bättre
det
slag.
dåliga med den är bara om man stänger den dragningen.
Ja,
Då ska jag dra den handen
ja, det är
här.
sant. Ja.
Så ja, ska man klippa ska man
Så
klippa
jag kan ändå
med
gilla den här
fyra.
dragningen.
Jag tror nästan att vi är tvungna att göra.
Ja. Och vad gör jag med min då? Om vi sänker den
lockar på en
där.
till. Vi får ligga framför.
Du har ju den här skjuten här på sidan också.
Ja, exakt. Det är lite, precis. Det är sant.
Eller om vi lägger här.
Do we have to make the draw?
You have to make the draw, or you have to just run it back's not a great scenario. You're almost better to peel it off and
Yeah,
try
that's what I said.
and try and
And
bump
maybe
this
try to-
because we're second shot.
Yeah, that's
And see, but you're going to have to freeze, or you're going to have to freeze on your first.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one or the other. Whoever,
Do you like this?
I like that, yeah. Whoever thinks
Kan ni komma lite närmare?
you got to freeze now, or you got to freeze on your first.
So if we're peeled, they probably just throw us
They're probably going to throw a center guard. I don't think she's going to come in, but if she does come in, that'd be great. That'd be a bad call because we're a second shot, right? Yeah. So you either got to freeze now or freeze on your next. I don't mind the peel and trying to chip this one in the rings. Yeah, and then you draw on your first.
I can like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then maybe
yeah.
she'll play in the rings and leave you set up for a double for a
like
big
that.
end.
Yep,
Okay,
let's go there.
let's go.
Jag var inne på
So you
Wayne
like
Middaugh
taking...
seemed to have
yeah.
a pretty clear plan, and it seemed like they were pretty much on the same page here, the girls and Wayne. It's just more of the timing
Sara,
issue.
spela den som en vanlig pil och
Yeah.
jag skippar på den här bara.
When
Vad sa
do
du?
they want to
Spela den
make
som
the
en vanlig
freeze?
feeling och jag skippar på
Now
den.
or
Ja.
on the next one? And the conclusion here is peel the guard, expect another guard from the US, and then throw the freeze. And they're going to see if they can actually peel the center guard, maybe even chip that yellow corner guard into the house as well.
Yeah, getting so much production out of a single stone. Just looking at those angles, always trying to get a little bit extra, a little bit more than just
Alex.
the
Nära.
made, the
Oh,
one
nära.
shot.
Ja! Ja! Ja!
It's going to be close here.
Går det på egen?
A little too thin and gets the corner guard a bit too thick, but that was always just a bonus.
Det är bra, Sara.
And this was the shot that Wayne talked about. If she comes into the rings, it's a mistake, is what he said about
You got it.
USA's next shot selection.
Good speed. This is fast here, right?
Yeah. Just need to stay on it for the curl.
For the
So
center.
Jamie talked about that, and then they pointed to the guard.
Just a 2.5.
Yeah, and she
Or, like,
settled on
fully
the
across
guard.
The center, like kind of on that line.
Yeah, come into the rings here, you group the reds, you give Hasselborg, who can play pretty firm weight, a chance to just blast everything open.
Yeah. And USA's job here is really to try and hold Sweden to a single point.
So they're throwing the center guard knowing Sweden will make the freeze, then they're going to come right on top and make it hard for Sweden to score a 2.
That's exactly right. And if something should go wrong with the freeze attempt, maybe you've got a chance at a steal and to level this score.
Almost. Come on. Come on.
Three. Hard. Three. Yeah, three. That's good. That's on the right side.
Well, there we go. Center guard in place. The call's been made already for Sweden.
Yeah, it's one of the things I really enjoyed about the timeout with Wayne. He didn't ask them, you know, any questions. He just told them exactly what he wanted them to do, what to expect, and included Sweden in the conversation, included the team in the conversation. But the whole reason why they called a timeout was to get his input, to get him to help them make a decision. And you know, to give the added expertise of what he thought USA might do and how they might handle it was fantastic.
A little bit of pressure on the Hasselborg here.
Look at that start to curl.
Looking pretty close. Did he want it fully frozen? Want to just keep it a couple of inches high. That's pretty good right there. So much control. So good communication. Just waiting for that to curl. And then they put it right on the tee line. Is there a chance to come to the nose, maybe a hair inside and tap it, get shot stone?
Yeah, I guess there is. The way you've got to play this, though, is just to freeze right on the face of this stone, right squarely in front of it. If you sit on the high side, she can probably play a takeout and get to.
Solid. 8. 7, 8. Oh, room.
7/8's close.
Right here, guys. Yep. Yes. Hard. Yes.
Need to carry this past the red stone on the top 8. It was never 7/8, was it? It was just a bit shy.
Yeah, and that's a couple of times on
I thought it was hot out of hand.
on Jamie Stone's, where they didn't quite judge the weight correctly.
Of course, that leaves that draw coming the other way on the in turn. Not a lot of room, but throw a similar draw here. She's going to be close. Scoring 2.
Yeah, she needs a little bit better than full forefoot to outcount that USA stone on the back.
Du kan ta lite mindre ändå, Sara. Det ser mycket ut härifrån.
Alltså 1,5 meter till.
Okej, inte mer alltså?
Alltså jag tror det kommer vara exakt.
Det är ändå...
De har ju dragit sina där. Vad hade de för säga? 14,8? 15,8 på garderna.
Jag går ju till, de hade kant 8, så det är ett helt annat spår.
Okay, ja,
jag tror vi kan ta lite mer.
Ja, jag tror man kan tänka lite.
Jag tror också det. Men kommer, och så går
Front end telling the skip to add a meter and a half here, about 5 feet. I think it's a little bit slower coming this way.
Yeah, so one side of the ice being slower than the other.
Bra linje. Fin linje.
Bra fart!
Går rätt rakt. Perfekt linje, hänger.
Not curling it for Sweden here. The sweepers need to get it there for weight. And just hope that it's going to curl enough. Put this run right on the tee line. Like you said, more than full forfeit is what they need, and that is what they get. That is 2 points for Sweden. 2 fantastic draws by Anna Hasselborg. And of course, just the whole team really. And it's a 5-2 lead. Slowly taking control of this game. And that is half time for the teams. They'll head in for a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with more.
Man,
first end. Sweden with a chance to score 2, needing a nose hit. And the back 12, that is made. Perfect start for the Swedes. And the second, Sweden lying
A little bit more.
2, as Jamie
Nice
Sinclair
Clean. No.
looking for the open head to score the single.
Good shot.
That is made.
One.
A 1-point lead for the Swedes heading into the third end. It was a nice draw by Sinclair, coming around the guard, forcing Anna Hasselborg to draw the forfeit. That draw is money. A single point for Sweden. In the fifth end, they would score another 2, and at halftime it's a 3-point lead. Looking around, we see Russia playing Germany. It's a 1-point lead for the Russians. China playing Switzerland. They also lead it 3-2, while Japan is 2 points up on Finland, 5-3 game as they play the sixth end.
My rocks are terrible. No, slow.
One's fast and straight. Yeah, you could give her one, the fast and straight one. It's just easier for you to manage. Oh.
I got it.
Do you? All right. Okay. Good then.
Straight corner.
Yeah, we gotta go a little bit here now. Not. No, I mean. Yeah. 6 then here. You get 2 and 6.
And if we move out there, maybe just like play a 9.5.
Yeah.
If it's in those fresh packs.
Or even more.
Yeah, even more. Yeah.
I don't want to flash again.
No, but like that, I think it's going to be the same as
Once
last
a year. Yes.
Let's go, guys.
Boom. Great half. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Live in your bubble.
Well, let's take a look at the percentages. It paints a little bit of a picture. 88% for Sweden, solid once again. USA hanging in there, playing 75, but 3 points behind on the scoreboard. Still 5 ends to do it, though. See if USA can score a couple in the sixth, make this interesting.
Är det bra eller? Den mot lite lösare, precis. Gillar det.
Bra linjer.
Bra fart!
Ganska rakt ut och leda.
Bra fart!
Bra linjer.
Nu lägger vi lite här.
Perfekt linje. Kom inte där. Borde tappa lite fart.
You are watching live coverage from the LGT World Women's Curling Championship 2019. We're in the beautiful Silkeborg, Denmark. It is USA taking on Sweden here. Round robin action. 13 teams in this competition. And I believe 6 teams will head to the playoffs.
Yeah, 6 teams will make the playoffs. There are no tiebreakers. Those 6 teams will be determined first by record. And if we've got a tie, then it goes to head-to-head. And if that doesn't give us placement. Then they go to the draw shot challenge, which is the overall numbers as measured from the last stone draws after each practice.
Well, no surprise that Sweden's currently topping the draw shot challenge standings. So on average, they're only 16.6 centimeters from the button. That is the center of the stone.
Yeah, that's the center of the stone.
So that's about, what, half a rock's width, meaning they're on average, they're
on the button.
On the button every time, which is pretty swell. We have Japan, Canada, and Russia following, so that could be an important aspect. And when we get to the end of the week, for USA, they are ranked 12th in draw shot challenge, so they might have to win 7 games. It was one team didn't make it to the playoffs on a 6-6 record last year. 2 teams did, and that was much due to the head-and-head and draw shot challenge. So have some work to do, the Americans.
Yeah, and this is one of the ways to start getting it done. Put up the corner by Monica and then come around it.
This is about where the 5-rock rule has changed things a little bit. Last year, I'm pretty sure Sweden would just go up and peel that corner guard right away.
Absolutely. They've got their 3-point lead. They would want to pull the play into the rings.
So instead, we'll have a center guard, and actually all 5 stones that have been thrown will be in play, even though there's a 3-point deficit. Makes the game a bit more exciting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it gives the team with the hammer an opportunity, just one more rock to hold out front. Of course, the rock placement from Sweden being so precise and so good. This is it's a tough set of circumstances, but Taylor's being asked to play the run takeout. So by run, she's asked to drive that stone back onto the 2 stones in the rings. Hits a little on the outside, a little wide.
Will we ever see a 6-rock free guard zone?
Not until after the Olympics in Beijing. I think the rules are pretty well set. That is something that I don't know that anyone's really experimented with.
I don't think anyone's asking for it quite yet, but would you agree that the free guard zone came into play simply because teams were getting so good that it became a bit boring?
Yeah, the teams were getting so proficient. You were seeing full games where the scores were 2-1. It was all about when you had the hammer. And it was maybe a little boring. One game that's not boring is Japan versus Finland. Japan looks like they're sitting 1 and 2. Finnish skip Onakauste. She's playing a hit and roll. And she needs to hold this shooter. It's gonna roll a little too far. Oh, actually Japan was only sitting 1. It's a steal of 1 for Team Japan, and they increase their lead to 3 points.
Lucky she didn't curl more and chip out her own stone there, Onakauste. We see USA just topping some rocks around here. Why not kill them? Why keep them in play?
USA needs stones in play. They'd love it to be their own stones, but they're going to have to become friendly with their opposition stones. Use the opposition stones as places to hide. Go behind them. freeze down on top of them. And wow. 100% for this game. Was that just the jinx?
I think so. That is a very unusual miss by Sara McManus. Looking for the double on the reds, takes out her own rock. And that 100% game, not so perfect anymore.
Yeah.
That is, yeah, quite unusual. And a chance for USA now to get something going. They will use the opposition stones like Legos.
Right to it, guys. Press health, guys.
Yes, they will.
Line's good.
First Lego land not too far away from here.
There, close, man. Come on, guys. Come on, yes. Go hard, man. Hard. Hard.
I would like this all the way down onto the yellow at the back. Doesn't quite get there, but they're right on the button. They have some separation. I wonder if Sara McManus will get a crack at the same double again.
This is a grueling sweep all the way down the ice. Trying to drag it, hold the line as well. Great work from the front end for Team USA.
Well, they'll play a different double this time. Coming off the winger. Just trying here. Just a kind of in between shots. Well, jumping over to Russia, Germany. It's Russia up by the single point.
Yeah, and Germany putting some pressure on Alina Kovaleva. She's got to make a precision draw. Needs part of the button for a single point. Sweepers are on and off. That is a good sign. Not a lot of room. Perfectly made, well judged by her front end. Great line call. Russia leads 5-3 after 6.
I'm trying to get buried around the yellows on the side here.
Yeah, and that's a really good shot from Sarah Anderson. Sarah having her best game of the week so far.
Vad sa du förresten? Förlåt.
Vi spelar typ en hacksarg typ.
Nej, jag tänkte hårdare. Har nästan mer än
Vi ska
halva.
stanna här. Vi får inte rulla så långt liksom. Det är bara typ 2 sten.
Vad händer om man spelar en hårt så då?
Den stickar ju bara.
Aldrig har
Kanske vi
förut.
rullar upp. Jag tänker att det är bra.
Vad händer om man sätter den här då?
Hasselborg calling down
Väldigt tunt för att den ska gå över.
the front end.
Den här är ju andra sten.
Jag tänker att det är därför vi behöver
Quite a
antingen
democratic
tycker
team.
att det här är lättare.
They like for everyone to chip in without it being too messy.
Den här är
Ja,
andra
och vi
sten.
behöver ju antingen så går vi direkt på vickar eller om vi tycker att den är lättare.
Jag gillade den här, den ser nice ut nerifrån.
Ja, jag tror också det.
Hennes dragning gick ganska rakt här nu.
11 bara så då.
Ja, jag kan gilla
Om du
den.
spelar någon mjukare, går hennes spår kan du göra det också.
Hennes skala är väldigt lugnt alltså.
Ja, väldigt lite. Jag bara tänker om...
Bara så här,
Bara en sarg.
11-7.
Ja.
Gillar du det?
No more timeouts to call for Sweden.
Är det sargarna?
Yeah, Wayne's job is done for the rest of the night. We're
Yeah.
past the 5th end.
Well, if you get an extra end,
Yeah, he might have to go back out.
there'll be another extra, another timeout available. It's a good thing for everyone to be able to voice their opinion and chip in.
I think it's fantastic as long as everyone understands their roles and who is going to make the final decision. And you can see the ease with which they share information and provide input with each other. It's very easy. It's very confident. It's without ego. And
Not a lot of passive-aggressive comments.
no. Well, those are pretty useless out there. This is a sport.
Well, that is a controlled weight trying to get to that rock just played by the US. They barely get contact.
Yeah, I think they just got a little fooled by that spot in the ice. Too much line.
Yeah, I just don't know how you get it. Exactly.
Sarah Anderson's draw didn't finish huge there either.
Yeah, and she had really nice weight. It wasn't over-rotated.
Still just be third count, though. I can draw to here, the intern. That's not terrible.
We could tap this and roll in front, sit 3. Well, then she's just probably, if it's not perfect, she's blasting.
Don't mind the time here.
Yeah, I like it. Time.
Timeout called by
do you guys
Team
feel right
USA.
What do you feel right now?
Not often we see both timeouts used before the sextant has been played.
It's not bad. 2's good.
Even if we make it perfectly, just me running it.
Oh, I just knows this.
Yeah. She blasts those.
If we know
Yeah,
that,
and then
Shooter's probably not in the 8-foot. I have an open truck too.
or if we knows that and she freezes, and then we draw only have a draw.
I don't think she
one.
would against 3.
Okay. With the scoreboard, how it is.
Here in's pretty good.
Here is Pete Fenson.
options.
If you get this half around here, you can line these up right under this back yellow. If you get your draw half around here.
Yeah.
And leave it high enough so she can't make the double in the back.
Right.
And line these up right under there.
Yeah, pretty good.
Well, she picks it. She might try that. Just make it as tough.
So go for this. This is tolerance.
Yeah, you get it back here, she's going to freeze you out.
Yeah.
Which is, this
What's
is
your better than up there.
Intern around here this way. And hang some of it.
I like it.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Make it good.
This side, my intern, LSD, takes
Okay.
a while to curl.
Yeah. This is center.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Inside middle.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Half open, full 4.
You got it.
A call has been made. They'll be drawing around
still think
to like
speed's gonna be
top
good.
4.
What do you think about her throwing the same as she threw on that draw here?
I like that.
Yeah.
Here the front end discussing
Okay, similar on this side as last time?
what
Yeah,
weight
I think if you
they
throw
want to
the same,
communicate
it should
back
be
to Jamie
going to the
Sinclair,
same spot.
Okay, perfect.
what they want to see her throw.
Yeah, and that's a great job for you young curlers out there. The front end having that discussion as quickly as possible, coming to an agreement, so you're not having that on top of the skip, right? So you've made your choice before she gets down there. So you don't want to put too many numbers into your skip's
Okay.
head.
Close. Good. Close. Watch 6. Taylor. Where's it? 7, 6. Line's good, Taylor. Yes. 6.
Gotta go. 6.
Hard. 5, 4, 3. Hard. Hard. Go, 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 go.
Big sweep to get
Right here,
past
go, go,
the
go,
top
go,
red
go,
here
go.
into the forfeit, looking pretty good here from Team USA. Maybe a foot short, but that is pretty close to where they wanted that one.
That was more even.
I thought that was heavy at hand. Sorry. Mikey.
Ska jag dubbla här?
Ja, jag funderar också bara på
Bara
dubblar.
köpa?
Well, Sweden discussed
Jag
their
köpte dingar
last
ifrån
shot
också.
of the 6th.
Ja.
Let's jump
Och
on
så-
over. China
Om man
plays
gör
Switzerland.
övertal, Då kan jag ju nästan ta den.
Nej. Den finns inte.
China
Det luktar.
sitting
Man får
shot
ju aldrig-
stone.
Man får aldrig träffa high, menar jag.
Nej. Den har
It's a
jag.
draw for 2.
Jag bara funderar om det finns något annat. Alternativet är dit, men det känns ju...
Wang Rei,
Alltså, det blir ju betydligt
she
mer
throws the
press än
4th
slag.
stones.
Men
And
alltså,
she has been
säger jag dubbel så
outstanding
tappar vi
all
2,
week
liksom.
for
Då
Team
får jag
China.
allt.
She needs full 4.
jag vill inte spela outside.
She's got backing. Perfectly executed, 2 points and a 5-2 lead over Switzerland.
So looks like the double, straight back double for Sweden. If that draw came a foot deeper for the US, this shot would be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, you heard the US maybe at the end of Jamie's shot that this is a couple of times in a row that they've thought her rock was going to go further than it did. And they talked that maybe that stone's just a bit slower than her other one.
We haven't quite heard them discuss that yet, but that could very well be the case. Oh, you did hear. I see. Looking for the double here. They just get it. Sweden to cut USA down to 2, of course. Draw still needs to be made.
Yep, and great shot from Anna, trying to limit the damage as much as possible.
Well, remember when Sweden drew for 2 in that 5th end, 2 nice draws by Hasselborg. Wasn't it the last rock for Jamie Sinclair that came up short?
They could be moving it around, actually.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw them in the same order. So they did reference, Monica referenced that, so.
Let's have a look and see how they fare with this one. Never nice to be second-guessing your sense of weight as a thrower or a sweeper. They're pretty happy with the weight here. Just got to make sure they're past that top yellow. That looks good as well. And does it have a little bit of backing? It doesn't need it, I think. Just a nudge, and it's good for 2. USA, they claw back, and they are very much in this game. Sweden up 5-4 after 6 ends.
Okay. This is curling hard, and I thought we might wreck.
Yeah, I just curling high as if because it was going to slow down.
Just say we're by, but curling hard. I like that info, but just make sure we know we're by.
Just so that we don't tap her.
Because I was thinking that I was a little nervous about it crashing. That's all.
Good end, guys.
Vill du bara fortsätta hålla tempo?
Ja, exakt.
Men se till att ha stor noggrannhet då.
Ja. Runt här nu då.
Ja.
Och så öppnar mitten Magnus.
Ja. Så tar vi 2.
Så tar vi en sten i taget då.
Ja.
Precis.
Bra.
Slots rotation.
No.
A score of 2 for USA was exactly what the game needed. And of course, what the Americans needed as well.
Bra linje!
Bra fart!
Jättefin linje!
Bra fart!
Bara er! Ha plats!
Ligger där själv.
Plats!
Full fyra!
Plats!
Tajt igen.
Eka fast. Och nu.
Full fyra!
Okej. Sara om du kan.
Full fyra!
Japp. Så, gå. Bra.
Quite a lot of rotation on that throw from Malbergs. Now, I wasn't around in the 80s, but I've seen curling. I've seen video from the 80s, or 70s, or 60s.
And what did you notice from that video?
There's not as much rotation on those throws.
Well, the ice didn't curl as much back then, so the ice being very straight required less rotation to get movement.
Well, why can't you just throw less rotation and then you can curl in around anything you need?
You can, but you've got to throw more weight then. You've got to have a bigger kick with less rotation. More rotation can take the ice shape out of a shot a little bit. And Leeds Rock, sometimes you might want to do that, right? Again, she might have a stone that curls more than every other. So if you add 1 rotation, 1.5 rotations, you can have it match the set that way.
It seems to me that ice makers are making ice that curls more every year, and then players are throwing them more and more positively, or more positive, with more rotation every year. And then they still complain it's not curling enough sometimes. Is it?
Yeah, I think you're going to start seeing athletes out there that throw 1.5 rotations and all the way to 6 rotations. It'd be like a golfer playing with only 1 club. I think you're going to start seeing the athletes take measurement of the ice surface they're playing on and the stones they're using, and very specifically choosing rotation.
Well, they're throwing extra rotation because it's just easier to control the line, isn't it? It just makes it go straighter for longer, and it's easier to predict the break point and so on.
Yes. So maybe the ice makers will have to make the course tougher, like they did in golf. The further the players could hit it, the tougher the course became. So then they would narrow the landing areas. Wow. So close to getting all those stones out of the rings.
So you're saying that shot would be a little harder if they put a bit of a hill in the center.
Yeah, it would be a lot harder if there was a hill out there. Maybe a couple of trees.
Ever played outdoors curling?
Yes, I have played outdoors curling.
I have a sense that ice might be a little more tricky then.
Yeah, you really just want to somehow get it to the other end. It's a little slower.
A lot has changed over the last couple of decades, not only the players, but the equipment, the rocks, the ice, but it's still very much the same game in principle. But it is a 500-year-old game, and I'm sure it looked quite a bit different back then, but in essence, we're still playing with rocks on ice against teams, and teams are often friends as well. It's a friendly game.
Well, I think one of the great gifts of curling has always been that it is a non-interference team sport. You don't have to play the other team. You play their stones when they land. And it is a very unique sport in that sense. Most team sports are interactive.
It's a contact sport.
Yeah, and you may have heard Wayne Middaugh at the end of their 5th end break. His last bit of advice to his team was stay in your bubble. And I think that means stay in the space that you control, the things that that you really take ownership of out there.
2, nice weight.
You can't make the other team do anything.
I guess the only really interference you can get with the opposition is sweeping the rocks in behind the tee line.
Yeah, but that's really minor. That's really minor. That very rarely causes much issue.
Nice. Good shot.
And this USA trying to force the issue here is fantastic. Keep throwing those center line guards. We did see this kind of haunt them a little bit in the 5th end.
Whoa!
When Anna Hasselborg with a surgeon's precision drew the one side of the button and then the other to take 2.
Fint spel, Sara. Härligt. Snyggt, Sara. Härligt.
Jag tar lite mindre också, det är 4:e stenen i samma spår. Rent. Rent, ligger perfekt. Härligt Sara, perfekt satt.
Jag skulle bara säga att jag bytte plats med mina stenar. Ja. För jag fick feelingen av att den jag har lirat först har haft, alltså det var den jag
It's a really good same spot. Yeah, just a 2. Speed's the same?
Yeah, speed's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a warm pass.
Okay. Just a 2. Cross center.
Yeah.
Easy.
Room. You're off. 2. Just 1, 2. Yep.
No, we're good.
Oh,
Oh,
three,
easy.
actually. Line's
This
good.
is just in the good stuff.
3.
Line's good.
3. Okay, good judge.
I should just throw my stopwatch away. My splits are so bad.
Hey,
Sorry.
nice shot.
I
just
decent ad.
stopped
Sorry.
taking the spot. Frågan är om hon har PT nu.
Det behöver vara
Det
lite
är
mer.
väldigt svårt för henne att komma hit bättre.
Jag
Det
tänker
behöver
att
vara
om
lite
du har
mer
PT.
tredje rejälsjämn.
Gillar ni komma ner här?
Ja, jag var inne på det också.
Samma linje som jag drog för 2 fast bara här nere.
Ja, jag gillar det.
Vi behöver vara helt bakfoten.
Ja.
Gillar ni den?
That's looking over. Japan is playing Finland. Not an easy shot coming up for Una Kausta.
No, it's an angle raise takeout.
Bra, Fia.
Japan is sitting shot stone in the center of the forefoot.
Även om jag skulle vara djup.
Finland trying to angle the stone onto their own and back.
Så det borde vara
Just over curls a bit, and Japan steals a point.
Och det är ju bara
It's now 7-3 in favor of Japan.
Ja, precis. Den blev 14-0 till slut. Ja, jag gillar det.
Russia playing Germany. Russia lying 3 at the moment.
And Germany needs a bit of the button with this draw. They can't play the hit because they wouldn't be shot stone. They only have a piece of the button And that over curls. Russia steals a single point and takes a 3-point lead as they play the 8th end.
Total verunsichert vom Eis.
Do a big roll. No. I think just control here. Try to get the roll right behind.
Yep. Let's do this.
Should move a hair.
Yeah.
Just control.
Jamie Sinclair looking for a hit and roll directly behind the Swedish stone in the top of the forefoot.
Wow, real nice roll.
That is a great shot.
USA really ramping it up now in the second half.
Yeah, patient sweep.
Säker bak 8!
Ja. Samma fart och så håller vi bara igång den.
Borde gå lite bättre än
Här går det ju bättre också.
Ja, jag tror samma
This
fart
is
är perfekt.
exactly what the Americans needed to do. Really force Sweden into very tough shots.
Well, last on 7th end. Cannot see much of that US shot stone, but they will try and at least chip it out for the single. This one's running. I'm not sure if this will curl enough for Sweden. It is nowhere close, actually, and that's a steal of 1 for USA. They've drawn level. Now we have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. It is tied after 7 ends. Well, Sweden looked so strong in the first 5. Things are changing. Momentum is shifting.
Jävligt dålig spets av hela laget.
Ja, sorry.
Nej, men i hela laget. Vi ser ju ser lång ut och såna saker. Vi kan ju dra igenom liksom.
Ja, absolut.
Nej, men jag sa det också. Alltså vad fan, det är hela laget. Så det är dålig spets.
Ja, absolut. Men då lär vi
Chance to smoke the double, and it feels kind of weird because like we're hitting instead of tapping and freezing. But on her first, if we smoke that double, then they peel, and then we put a perfect one top 4.
Okay.
Right? And then we go for the legs. Okay. Just my thought. But
Yep.
it seems kind of weird, but
No, I don't mind it.
we probably won't have it again. But
Good note, good note. We have a minute. Which rock do you want? Fast.
Line's good.
It's just over.
Looks good, guys. Just a 1.
Take a look, take a look. Take a look.
Looks good.
Nice.
We are back in action here in the 8th end. USA, Sweden. And currently, it is the Americans hassling the Borg.
Yeah, some really tough play from the Americans forced Anna Hasselborg into a difficult shot, a double in the 6th, a delicate little tap in the 7th. It was missed in the 7th end. USA steals a point. This game is all tied up.
Bra fart, Pia. Så jävla drygt.
Everything available still to play for. The head-to-head's getting a little better. Monica Walker was down low in that first half, and she's really picked it up. And we've seen maybe a couple of miscues out of her opposition player.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, normally Malbags is
All there, 3-4.
in the high
Easy.
90s.
Line's good. You gotta go, it's curling.
I think she might be faced with a straight rock, though. We're talking about that first one being very straight. They were surprised how little it curled, but they know it. This one slipping into the rings, that wasn't intended by USA. As we jump on over to China, Switzerland, it is Alina Petz ready to throw, and there's a whole heap of rocks in play.
She needs a little bit of a tap.
Oh! 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 Melly!
Red onto yellow onto red, I think.
Yeah. Delicate weight. Beautifully done. They were actually looking for a 3 on that one, but they secure 2 points, pull within 1 of China as that game heads into the 8th end.
As we can see, Sofia Malbags tapping up her own stone. Even though they could see maybe an inch of that red rock in the top 12, the problem was it's hard to move without jamming on their own yellow, and that's probably why they played the tap instead. That rock's tapped in behind the tee line. That's good news for the US.
3. Okay. Just make it good. Yep. Line's good, line's good.
This one coming up short. I think they were trying to come around.
Yeah, they were trying to come around.
It's not a bad plan B, though.
It is not a bad plan B.
Yeah. Good call on that. I was like heads down, just counting it as hard as I could.
Rent. Yep. Yep. Rent. Ligger bra. 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 Bra.
Sweden gets that single peel. They're probably going to be pretty patient, trying to open this all up.
I like the guard.
Like, all right, we're doing the draw. All right, like 6 more feet. Okay, I just.
And it's pretty tight here in the battle of the seconds. Edge going to Agnes Knocknauer.
Line's good. Close, man. Yep. Go, man. Hard line. Go, man. Hard, man. Hard, man.
Great weight from Taylor. Just doesn't hold the line. Over curls. This gives Sweden a chance to take control of both sides of the forefoot. They called to roll inside a little bit, but it's not actually necessary. You can see now USA is going to have difficulty getting down into the forefoot. It's going to take 2 stones to do that.
Har en
Well, we're gonna use that rock maybe.
Yeah.
If you can go over to their yellow, that's great. Like,
Whichever one you prefer.
You wanna go look at it?
we got time. Let's go talk about it.
It's a big end.
Oh, this is really good to see. Team USA coming down to Jamie,
we stay
making
here, we
sure
know they're just
that they're all on the
smoking
same
it, right?
page.
Yeah. If we do this, at least
I don't mind
either
that
way,
rock.
2 of them are gone.
Yeah. This.
Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least
I
with
know.
this, we get rid of 2 of the rocks.
I like that rock.
We can use it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind this. If
That
we
roll
if we roll
underneath,
right here.
it's gonna jam.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just control.
Yep.
It's just nerve-wracking because they've got 3, you know?
Okay. Should move a little here.
Germany plays Russia. They are desperate to score.
And Russia has put a ton of pressure on Daniela Jens. She needs a good piece of the forefoot, maybe part of the button to take a single point here in the 8th end. They're already down by 3. Running out of ends. Sweepers are going furiously. They've got to drag that rock all the way to the full forefoot. Comes up a little bit short. That's a steal of a single point for Russia as they continue their thieving ways and take a 7-3 lead after 8 ends.
Men de slår de den och så blir vi...
Jag kan gilla din första också.
Jag tror jag gillar den.
Vilken fart tänker du?
Jag tänker en chapp med 9.
Ja.
Eller kan jag spela lösare 9,5.
Det spelar ingen roll. Ta det i isvararna.
Ja, jag tror jag gillar 9 sådär.
Ja.
A good game today, Sarah Anderson.
Yeah, and a smile on her face is really wonderful to see.
Ännu bättre.
Oh, even better, Hasselborg says.
Yeah, that's not how you would maybe ideally call that play, but the super hard sweep holds the line just enough for McManus' stone.
Either this or the freeze.
She doubles out.
Well, wait, just
USA.
should be a little straighter here.
Yeah, you gotta love it when you're all fortunate and things work out better than you thought.
10-5.
You don't have to love it if you're an American fan.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
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 10.
Yep.
Double.
Yep. Yep.
Just gonna stuff it.
Sorry.
What are we hoping for at this point, you think?
Let's jump on over. That is right next door, Japan playing Finland.
I think she would have drawn, maybe.
I'm not sure what
Yeah, I like the
Una Kausta is up to here. Is it chipping out that red and rolling in for 2?
Think she is trying to generate 2 points any way she can. She's down by 4. She's running out of time in this game. She knows she needs something spectacular.
Gets the chip, rolls in, and are they lying second shot? Do they agree?
We'll see.
That was the hope for Una Kausta.
Measure. Yeah.
It's going to be a
Okay.
measure. We'll get back to you on what the score is there. Nakajima not so willing to give up that deuce quite yet.
Yeah, for sure it's a single point for Finland.
That's a beautiful shot, though, either way, by Una Kausta. couldn't do much more. Sweden comes around the center guard on our sheet.
Yeah, and sitting top button like that. Great shot from McManus.
Freeze or stuff? Do you guys?
If we freeze, we're second.
It'll be close.
I think I like this.
I got a few to go to, right?
Exactly. And
Through this
or we
lens
could
ago.
do this one instead of the one
Like this
that already
normal?
has. I don't mind firm just because
It'll be a bit more predictable.
Yeah.
I think that one's way easier, right?
And you are going for
Going
the
for
two,
the
right?
top one,
Yep.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the measure. Stick is out. Red. Ooh, I think it might be red. Ah,
Please, James.
it wasn't worth
Which one are we?
the
Top
risk
one.
for
Try to stuff
Finland,
it
but
behind.
that was a great shot nonetheless by Una Kausta. They only scored the one, Japan,
Yeah.
and controlled 7-4.
3/4?
Yeah, we want to hit it right here.
Sinclair, you can stick it on either yellow, or you can even make the double here. A couple of options.
Yes! Whoa! Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
What do they have here? I stick it right on the top yellow.
And shot Stone. Look, well,
Good job. Good shot, James.
That's close, but it's also pretty buried. Wonderful throw by Sinclair. And Sweden will have a think as we jump on over to China, Switzerland.
yeah, Switzerland, they are somewhat hidden behind a couple of stones of Team China, and Wang Rei needs to move that Swiss stone out of the rings. A huge opportunity for China to take full command of the scoreboard. And this is coming right in. Silvana Tiranzoni from Switzerland cannot sweep that out. It is 3 points for China and a 4-point lead after 8 ends of play.
Okej. Det är bra, Anna. Bättre så.
Det är bra spel, Anna. Bra lead.
Absolut, de hade kunnat dra på en till nu. Det hade vi lätt gjort.
Have they left a double here for Sinclair? Or is that what they're playing?
I think it is the double.
You're slightly
Is there a risk you ever make the double and roll out, allowing the blank?
Maybe Sinclair wouldn't mind the blank.
That is the 8th end. You see Sinclair having a superb game. Hasselborg, a very good game as well. Just a couple of mistakes in the last few ends, letting USA back in the game. And this is the kind of play we know Jamie Sinclair's good for. I just haven't shown every day of the championship so far. And here we go, doubling, even sticks to shooter. And that's going to force Sweden to take one. They won't be too upset. Just like you said, it is the 8th end.
Yeah, it is the 8th end, and I think actually where you were going, Sander, was excellent. If USA could have ever played that to spin the shooter out and encourage the blanked end, push that hammer, force Sweden in 9, and then you know, do everything you can with the last shot advantage in 10. I mean, a single point here likely give Sweden the hammer in the last end?
No.
Well, some teams play that way.
Yeah, I was going to say blank, but if we get a mistake, then
Some favor
just
the
like
hammer.
Easy deuce. Split the heads.
Hasselborg don't really have a choice here. With the 2 counters on the house, they'll have to score one. A steal here for the US would be huge. This one needs to curl for Sweden, and it does. It is there. Cracking end of curling comes to a finish. A single point on the board for Sweden. They're still just ever so slightly ahead, but USA will have last rock when we return with the 9th end.
I like the blank come home with. So they're probably going to go tight guard. You like this?
Bra linje!
Bra fart!
Pressa ner där.
Ser lite lång ut.
Bra fart!
Tycker den ser lång ut, Agnes. Tycker den känns in.
Ja, den är väldigt, väldigt nära. Ja, sorry.
Well, look at that. The guard slips into the rings for Sweden. That is a mistake by Sofia Malbergs, because we heard that chat in between the ends. Team USA, Jamie Sinclair, didn't she say, let's try and get the blank?
Yeah, take their simple too if it presents itself, but they're very happy with the blank.
Yep.
And now Hasselborg has to make a choice. She doesn't really hesitate. She's going to do everything she can to put that guard back up.
Bra linje!
Mellan!
Gå rakt, kolla upp!
Do you think Sweden would rather give up a score of 2 here than the blank?
Ser väldigt varm ut.
I think Sweden wants the hammer back in 10. I don't think they would rather give up 2 points, but yeah, they do want the hammer. I think they're willing to risk it a little bit. They're hoping to force USA to 1 and have that last stone advantage. Put the rock in the hand of Anna Hasselborg in the 10th end and try and take this game in with that.
Well, the talk has always been 1 up without the hammer, or 1 down with the hammer. But now this season with the 5-rock rule, does it ever change your perception of what you want?
Yeah, it's possible. There's not a ton of analytics just yet. I think teams are still experimenting with how they want to play those ends.
think it probably boils down to what you as a team is most comfortable with, and maybe looking at the stats for your team. How often do we win when we're up 1, or how often do we win when we're down the 1?
Absolutely. And that's something that the coaches would go over with these teams, looking at all the games they played either, you know, this season with the new 5 rock free guard zone rule, and where they've had successes, where they've had fail points.
Russia is leading 7-3 over Germany, China 8-4 on Switzerland, and Japan up 7-4 on Finland. So all games are pretty close, but now we can see that teams are starting to edge out their opponents. And the closest game out there this evening is our future game, USA-Sweden.
It's an absolutely outstanding game. Sweden looked like they had easy control of the game for a while, and USA very tough. Very tough. Set up a great end. In 6, scored 2, got the steal in 7.
Well,
forced a single point in 8.
That was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, that it will allow Sweden to throw a centerline guard. Their shot stone, they'll be underneath 2 stones.
Trying to slash, came off the corner guard and spun right in behind the center. It would be hard to make that happen if you tried.
Yeah, it's one of the things about this game, right? Round things, hitting round things. They spin and bounce in unique ways.
I can make this. Okay. I like it. Well, you could also do that.
I think the talk here is
I like them both,
if you
whatever you
don't
want.
make the slash,
Pardon?
Sweden
I
puts
like
a
them
better
both.
guard on.
Whatever you want.
You don't get the chance to get to that Yellowstone in the top 8. Maybe it's worth doing it while it's in the open.
I think just control.
Okay. Well, this isn't going for the blank anymore. Blank's
Actually, I lied. Sorry, normal. Firm. Firm. Whoa. Close. Whoa. Solid. Whoa. Come on. Come on. Anything on the roll.
Short run is made, but leaves another center guard. Now Sweden, how much risk do you want to take?
Kan man runda på 4?
Jag funderar på om man ens ska spela på den för att vi ska kunna runda sen.
Ja.
Annars, absolut så, men de har ju alltid den.
Ja. Bestäm nu.
Jag kan gilla det också.
Jag gillar den.
Alltså, drar vi runt och de går ner, det är bara att frysa.
Ja, precis. Kom, se till att få ner dem.
Fast får vi ut den och de tjappar så kan vi runda sen.
Vad sa du?
Om vi får ut den och de tjappar så kan vi runda sen.
Det var det jag tänkte också.
Ja, annars har de ju den pucken hela tiden.
Samtidigt som vi är här och de...
Bestäm du!
Not always easy to communicate across the sheet of ice. It's at 150 feet, 44.5 meters from bumper to bumper. And with the crowds chiming in a bit, it's hard sometimes. The discussion there for Sweden was to either come around everything right now, back 4, or play the hit and roll here to the wing, have USA maybe make a nose hit, then come around. This one's curling for Sara McManus, is on the front, actually taps it into the house, and though stay level, USA lying 2, this could really change the end and how USA approach it.
Jag fick
Sätter
ingenting.
de inget bra eller?
Well, she had a similar
Ingenting alls så mycket.
shot in the previous end that worked out well for Sweden. When you got the little redirect. This time, it's a bit of a disaster.
Jag tycker det känns bra när du sätter upp.
I don't mind ripping the guard.
Well, you don't want to draw on lie 3.
Well, I think the team doesn't want to leave Sweden anywhere good to hide a stone. If they ever make that hit and roll, USA will be chasing and forced to one. This way, the blank is still alive. If Sweden should make the double, if they don't make the double, you've got 2 and the lead, playing the 10th.
Is that respecting your opponent and their skills?
Vill vi ge dem nollan eller vill vi ge dem 2?
Well, hold that thought. We will jump on over to Japan, Finland. It's Japan with last stone here. Could really close the game out.
Yeah, Ikui Kitasawa. Puts the stone in play. They've got a pretty big lead already. They're sitting shot stone. Wow. That's a 3 and concession from Ona Kauste and her team from Finland. That's a 10-4 final. Japan over Finland.
Meanwhile, Sweden makes the open hit, but now sounds like a mistake from Sarah Anderson. She will head and roll out, so all of a sudden, this is starting to look like a blank end, but that was pretty much the intention for the US. They didn't mind scoring 2, but the blank was very much a result they would like to have.
Jag kan nästan känna lite mer åt de två. Nästan.
I think another game has finished as well. Russia picking up a win on Germany 7-4. Russia had a 3-point lead and hammer before the 10th end. Germany thinking there was no use. And they concede that game. Only 2 games left.
Yeah, and Team Sweden not willing to concede the blank just yet.
Well, that tells me that they would rather give away a 2 than the blank.
Absolutely.
Not that they want to, but they don't mind that risk.
Yeah, and they're going to try and force USA to make a really tough shot. Create as much distance between those stones as possible. It's just a fantastic shot from Sweden when they needed it most. Just a little reminder, we're still in control here.
Just firm.
Still not the longest run back for Jamie Sinclair here.
Should move an inch or 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And if Sweden don't mind giving up the 2 to get the hammer back, what do you think USA would rather do, blank or score 2?
Well, USA had talked about this. They wanted to blank. They were okay with the blank being down 1 with the hammer. They were okay with an easy 2 as well.
Well, it seems like Sweden definitely has a preference. Not sure if USA has a definite preference, but as we see, a fantastic run back by Jamie Sinclair. That might set up the deuce, but we'll have a look. There is a hit and roll still for Sweden. Sinclair might have to make the same shot twice.
Mot 10,5.
Ja.
Vad var min där?
Yeah, the on-off sweeping. Great sign. Beautiful throw.
gillade hur jag lirade min. Den låg ju verkligen och sirade. Den var 10-3.
You did. Yeah,
It came back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ja. Vi kan börja med linan då. Sätter vi lite där.
Gillar du isen eller vill du ha mindre? Jag tror jag gillar det där. Jag är lite...
Thrown down the spot quite a few times in the game. Should have a pretty good guess. Make the perfect roll. You might get the force.
Bra fart! Ren!
Bra fart!
Ren!
Var med! Wow!
Med den!
Var med den! Wow!
Nej!
Waiting on this one. It doesn't seem to curl for them.
Du har lite! Hårt!
Gets a tiny roll, but I don't think that's enough. And USA with
Den började gå.
a really good chance to score a 2 here.
10-4.
And take the first lead of the game for USA.
Just control. Nice. It should move here as well.
Yeah, control.
Control.
She's having an absolutely extraordinary game.
Clean! 11! Yep! 11! Yep! Hard! Yep! Straight to it! Hard! You're good.
Holding this straight for the skipper, and there we go, 2 points for USA. They lead it coming into the 10th end. 7-6 is the score. We've gotten everything we've wished for. One more end to go on this one.
Have one last.
Same thing we've been doing.
Yeah, so det är bra tjejer.
Men nice, vi ville lira 10 omgångar. Ja. Så nu får vi göra det.
Bara se till att ta en öppen tvåa.
Ja, exakt.
Vi inte spela så mycket runt hörnet så får vi någon jämn där och bara
Nej,
låta dem lira
precis.
någonting där. Så.
Line's good. 2.5, 3, 3. 2.5. Line's good. 2.5. Line's good. Sarah, any? 2.5. Sarah, yep.
We are gathered in Silkeborg, Denmark. USA playing Sweden. You know, it looked like Sweden was going to run away with this game at halftime, but look at that scoreline. USA has fought back tremendously.
And this is the best game USA has brought all week, and it's what they needed to contend with these Olympic gold medalists.
Det är bra linje, du kan gå hela vägen Agnes.
Lite kortare.
Den är snart
Sluta
där.
leva, gå. Okej, bra. Bra spel.
Bra, Pia.
You like that? It's kind of, it's a bit more than half, but
Ja, okej.
This is one of the toughest throws in curling. A one guard.
line's good.
Yeah, this needs to just
Just the one.
creep over the black hog line.
It looks there, guys.
Also for the sweepers to
Line's good.
be brave enough to not over sweep it.
Line's good, easy.
Just needing this
Sit.
right over. Look at that from
Good.
Monica
Good job.
Walker
Good.
and the Anderson twins.
Good job.
Superb shot.
Jättefin linje. 8. Perfekt linje.
8-12.
Gå då. Perfekt linje. Jättefin linje. Ni håller den jätterakt. Det är bara att gå. Perfekt linje. Gå, gå, gå Sara. Du håller den jättebra. Gå.
Fort, Sara.
Gå, gå, gå.
Fort, tjejer!
Gå, gå, gå. Lite till, lite till, lite
Whoa,
till.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Bra.
Top 4.
I like the way I threw here last time. I just overcurled
Bra, Pia.
here. You got it, Tay. Nice top
Top
4.
12 from Sofia Malbergs. And now Taylor Anderson has to draw around everything through the port on the out turn.
She's having her best game of the week.
Yep. Yeah, line. Where is it?
4, 5,
Yep.
go, go.
Gotta go line. Hard line.
Looking a bit shy for weight here.
Yep.
Just past the second guard, ends up kind of corner frozen on the yellow. Still not too bad. Lots of clutter down the center line for Sweden, and I don't think they like it.
Yeah, no, this is this kind of clutter plays to USA's favor. USA setting up for a steal, but they'd be okay with the force, right? Steal gets them the win. The force gets them the hammer and the extra.
Jag kan spela upp den lite bara.
Ja.
But these are the kind of shots that Agnes Nachnauer makes with proficiency. Run, doubles, they're right off. They're gonna get the single peel. No bonus on this shot.
Bra det där.
Well,
Yeah, right? You like that? What do you guys like? Do you want to talk about this? We hit and roll, run, play in the garden. Hack, she says. Good hack. Take your time.
Yeah,
Clean your rock.
I did. I just did.
Hack. Hack. Forward.
Oh.
Solid. Forward.
Keep it fresh. No. Close. Oh. Close.
Close.
Yep. Oh. Yep. Oh.
starting to curl here, starting to move. Just enough weight to kill that yellow. Check over to the wing. Nice shot from Taylor Anderson.
Antingen den eller runt.
Jag var inne på den här nu.
Ja.
Gillar också den.
Marginalticka gadden. Var säker hattar.
So from the up weight peel to the touch weight hit and roll.
Ren. Japp. Sari. Japp. Sari. Järnet. Gå. Hårt. Järnet.
Huge sweep to keep this past the center guard. They're just going to chip it. That was the option mentioned by the skip, but they were probably hoping to move it over a bit more as we see China play Switzerland. They've been trading threes. Lots of action in this one.
Yeah, and Switzerland sitting 1 and 2. Wang Rui needs a double takeout. The double takeout gets her the win.
It's close, but stuffs it.
That's a steal of one for Switzerland.
Wow, that's going to be an extra end, China, Switzerland. Maybe looking for the slash there. In hindsight, you could have maybe swept less and gotten it the other way. But they will go one more. And you never know, we might go one more as well here. Sweden with hammer. If they're forced to score the one, we would play an extra end as well.
Maybe 3. You're close. I mean, it's slow there.
Bra linjer!
Bra fart!
Kom med den!
Fin fart!
Perfekt linje!
Ja, den är nog där själv.
Perfekt linje, den rör sig lite mer än de andra.
So changing tactics now.
14-3, var med den.
Topp 10.
Okej, Aldra.
They're going to try and outmaneuver USA here in the forefoot.
Bra Sara.
Bra Sara! Bra Sara! Jättefin fart!
Bra snacka.
Giving you a hair less.
Give you a little less, huh?
Yeah, less ice. Just
Weight's pretty
Well,
not much less.
is there any risk playing around the center guard here for Sweden?
Yeah, of course, there's always risk when you've got the hammer and you leave the center congested.
More to me.
7.
There's a chance they might not have a way in for the single.
It looks hot.
Yeah, I want to say the same.
Okay.
Maybe more.
7.
It's coming down a little.
It's got a curl.
Yeah. I think we leave this high.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think we're just next to it.
Trying.
Okay, good.
Good weight.
Man, my split's
Oh, here we go. We saw Russia pick up a win on Germany 7-4. Japan also beating Finland 10-4. And as we just saw, China, Switzerland all tied after 10. They play an extra end. And we're currently in the 10th end.
Bra linje.
Bra fart!
Samma.
Vänta, vänta.
Ja!
Bra fart!
Nej.
Sara McManus
Topp 4!
coming down onto the forefoot, at least trying, needing some help from Nockenhauer and Moabadics to drag it far enough. But it's, ooh, I thought it was on the guard. It's not. How far can they bring it? It is into the forefoot. Fantastic sweep.
What?
I don't believe it.
What an incredible sweep. Coast to coast, all power.
Härligt, bra så pass. Grymt.
They may be the two best sweepers in the women's game. Look at this. That stone looks like it's all over the guard.
Well, that is all the hours in the gym paying off right there.
Härligt. Härligt Sara.
Super work from that front end.
På det här lilla håret.
So Sweden actually lying too.
Yeah, I guess all they needed was a couple of inches. And they've got it. Now,
You got all of it, right?
Jamie
Not quite. I thought I did.
Sinclair gets to play one of her favorite types of shots. She's going to play a run back. She wants
I'm
to
thinking control.
absolutely
Yeah.
drive that red rock in the top of the 12-foot back onto the nose, squarely hitting one of the yellow stones out of play.
Hair more.
Playing really well. 93% on her hit so far. Couldn't see all of the rock, she said, from the hack.
Yeah, we're way out there.
She can afford to be a hair high to stick it, but this one might be looking just a bit too high for a line. Where is this red stone going to end up? It's going to be on their own red. That is not what they were hoping to do. Sweden still sitting the 2. But of course, they have exposed the yellows.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different ways that USA might be able to access them.
Hon har den och så har hon klippen här.
Innanför klipp. Vad gör vi om vi gör den då?
Ja, jag tror nästan det.
Får de
Den
bort
är
alla...
svår dock.
Ja,
Försöker hon klappa här eller?
du
Vad
ser
sa du?
kanske
Försöker hon klappa här då?
Jag tror hon bara försöker...
Samtidigt ligger vi här så ligger vi ändå inte 3 liksom.
Nej, alltså det här känns ju som hennes enklaste slag just nu.
Hon kommer ju bli rätt så gömd på den.
Om vi tänker 2 steg då?
Ja.
Alltså Anna, om vi gör den, jag vet att den är svår, men då har hon inte slashen, då ligger vi 2.
Ja. Jag tror vi lär spela på den, ja.
Det enda är om man
jag tror nästan det.
touchar upp egen kan man ju få en trippel. Man vill inte toucha dem egentligen.
Man vill inte toucha dem, nej.
Nej, de ligger så bra.
Jag ska aldrig toucha dem, nej.
Den är svår alltså för att inte toucha dem. Man ser bara lite med en halva.
Du ser kanske 70 så...
Nej, du lär se mer än
Så det är bara det att om jag skulle toucha i den så är det, kan det också
Kan man
bli
dra
dåligt.
bort dem på något vis? Jag bara tänker, fast då kan vi lägga upp en...
Kan jag dra den dit, men det är svårt också.
De har ju den här också.
Kan jag dra dit då?
Ja, absolut.
Den är bra. Den
Det
gör
är
vi.
helt okej att lägga sig här
Ja,
också.
den gör vi.
Ja,
Jag gillar den.
Kant 8 då.
det är bra. Det är samma spår också.
So Sinclair at the moment can come the same way she just played to get to the yellows and
Har du någon marginal?
try and kick them all out. She also has the in-off of the red stone just above the tee line. That's the stone the Swedes are most worried about.
Jag tror ändå...
Ja, du kommer
They
här.
want to try and take that shot away somehow. As we see, Sweden only 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and they got 2 rocks to play.
Så bak 4 då.
No timeout left, so starting to feel just slightly rushed here. Sweden, knowing that most likely the last stone's going to be pretty clear cut what they have to do, but still only to see a minute up there is
Yeah,
a bit disconcerting.
It is. It's plenty of time to settle yourself and make a shot, but not plenty of time to go through a bunch of options.
We're going to just draw to the top 4, I think was the plan. In the end, they get a chisel off that red, and they get the backing on the stone at the back of the 4. Now Sweden sits 3.
En minut, Anna.
Vad säger du?
En minut.
Ja.
You have to.
Here the lead Malbecks just telling her skip, you have 1 minute.
1 minute.
USA have a bit more time.
Yeah, and they've got a...
This in.
I know.
Might be easy as this. You'd have to throw a bomb.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat, right? Hair higher would be nice.
I mean, you threw too hard into
I
this
think,
way.
yeah, with the in, it's definitely there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just right into the crotch, I think. I hope your shooter just stays right
Yeah,
there. Behind the guard.
yeah, ish. Okay, I like it. I threw a bunch here a couple innings ago.
I don't know what happens if we bomb it.
There's
third,
nothing
eh?
really, yeah.
And we want to hit. Like, could we do the double, like get the back,
right
two back ones?
Yeah, I think.
I think the 2 first, right? Because if we
Yeah,
come
then our
here,
shooter
it
stays
pushes
right
the
there.
2 and make the 5 back. I think it's
So this is the nice thing for USA, having quite a bit of time on their clock. They can go through all the options, try and get it absolutely perfectly decided.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of good things that can happen for USA. There's the outside chance that they can get all 3 of those stones moving off the 4-foot. They'd be happy to get 2 of them moving.
Yeah, is there any chance you can come off the red, maybe get those 2 stones on the button out of the 4-foot and sit almost frozen on that stone just thrown by Hasselborg?
It's a bit tougher, but these rocks have so much movement and action. We've talked about the energy transference before. Sinclair needs to basically hit almost where her broom is.
It's a third.
This one's a toughie. Gotta make it though. At the moment, Sweden's winning the game. Throwing the in-turn at this. And it's a big sweep. And it's on the guard. And Sweden will win it right here. They will not have to throw their last stone. And that is, of course, just a little bit disappointing. We wanted that perfect finish to the game. And of course, disappointment as well for USA. They played such a good game. They really took it to Sweden. And that was an important one as well for the Americans to stay in the playoff race. But Sweden, they carry on. They keep on trucking. Another win in the books. They will join Russia at 7-2.
Nej, Sara, skärp dig.
Only one game left out there this evening, and it is China playing Switzerland. Wang Rui had the chance to put the game to bed in the 10th, couldn't make the double. So that's why we play one more. China also with the chance to join Russia and Sweden with a 7-2 record. And it is Switzerland with shot stone just in the back of the forefoot. Looking to remove the guard here. China actually gets a little bit of a second prize, but don't really want to leave anything that blocks the draw for them. Currently, the LGT logo is available for Wang Rui to draw to for the win. Skip and third rocks, Silvana Terensoni. For the Swiss, again, very important game. They all are in a World Championship, but they're sitting at 4 wins, 3 losses. They've got some tough games ahead. They play Canada tomorrow morning. Gets the guard in place. See Wang Rui lining up the slash. Wouldn't mind getting that rock in the wing out of play. Might not make too much of a difference at this point. There's a pretty good chance Wang Rui will have to draw for the game. But of course, remove that rock on the wing from play as well. You might have another option. Could play the hit. There's probably no risking trying it. The main objective here is definitely to get rid of the center guard. They do. And that rock stays on the side of the 12-foot for Switzerland.
Okay. Am Anfang, wenn es geht, wieder ein bisschen warten. Ja, das ist gut. Schönes Spiel. 4-0, oder?
Down to skip rocks. Alina Petz looking for the center guard again.
Hey, sicher Meli. Ja, Meli, musst. Musst, Meli. Musst, komm.
Calling on
Komm, musst.
Melanie Barbizat to try and carve this over. Needing all extra finish to get some protection. Don't want to leave an angle for a double either. Comes pretty close to the rings. What will China do? Will he peel the guard again, or will they attempt to draw right here? But Wang Rui is first. I think that's what they'll do. Well, they know. The Hildegard, Switzerland comes in, maybe top of the 8 foot. And then she's going to have to play a double again for the win. That didn't come off in the 10th end, so Wang Rui, who's an excellent draw player, clearly struggled a bit on draws today, but she feels confident to put this right on the button and maybe win the game right here. Of course, a miss, and she'd be in huge trouble. Waiting for line. Have they waited too long? Sweeper's really going for weight here to bring it far enough. I don't think it's going to get there. It's going to stop just nibbling the forefoot, and that's essentially another guard for Switzerland. And we have a timeout for Switzerland. They're going to think long and hard about what to do here.
Mal, ich würde rote. Ja. So. Wegen dem Doppel. Ich würde glaube der.
Ich finde sogar, wenn du rauskommst, ist es nicht verdammt schlimm. Gut, wäre ein bisschen Innenrolle, aber ich finde den super. Geht gar nicht anders.
Ich würde noch schnell warten, was Misu sagt. Wir haben genug Zeit. Wir lassen es da noch ein bisschen frostig werden.
Ja. Also, diese Seite ist ja mega härter, oder? Darum haben wir gedacht, die ist ein bisschen einfacher und ich finde der Race fast der einfachste, oder? Der muss ja nur treffen. Dann haben wir gedacht, so dass sie noch mal von dieser Seite spielen muss. Wo wirklich...
Ja. Also wir haben ja den letzten, das ist jetzt mein letzter. Jetzt, ja.
Aha. Ja, ich finde, es gibt nichts. Weißt, wir könnten einfach einen Guard machen, aber ich finde, das ist der einfachste.
Und nachher sie lecken lassen, hier im Härten.
Nein, ich finde auch nicht.
Nein.
Also wir können das Eis machen, dann kommt sie so auch nicht mehr rein. Das können wir machen.
Nein. Ich finde den super. Auch wenn da blöd gesagt, wenn er rausrollt, dann muss sie zuerst anlegen.
Sie spielt dann nicht mit uns. Also weißt du, sonst könnte man wirklich ein Eis machen.
Also, aha, ja.
Sie hat dann noch hier
Ja, sie hat immer einen, weißt du. Aber der ist der einfachste aus meiner
Sicht. Wenn wir da machen, dann hat sie auch den Drohnen nicht mehr, meine ich.
Ja, also komm, dann spielen wir den. Wir kennen ja sein für einen Corner Guard.
Aber er müsste eigentlich schon die Aussenseiten abdecken.
So, ich finde den super, ja, im Fall.
Schon?
Ja. So, ein bisschen weniger noch. So.
Das ist schon der richtige, oder?
Ja, ich finde schon.
Da, hast du es gezeigt?
Auf der Centerline. Ja. Meine wird sicher ein bisschen mehr gegarlen wie deine, Mel. Ich finde Centerline im Fall recht gut.
So after the timeout, Switzerland has decided that the most dangerous rock is that red rock sitting on the outside corner of the 12-foot. Alina Petz, fourth stones thrower, looking to block China's access to that stone. She's putting up a corner guard on it.
Linie ist super. Linie ist perfekt.
They want this to be long. And it is well executed. She wanted it to maybe sit a little bit on the inside of where it was. Now it's about the draw.
Okay.
Wang Rui, she's got a minute to throw this, a little less than a minute. As the clock ticks, plenty of time to settle yourself.
She's been so clutch on the draws this week, but not in this game. She's had some struggles. You can see the first one pulling up a bit short. Can she pull this one out of the bag? Put it side of the button. This is a very tough draw. Also for the sweepers as well, to judge this.
Yeah, she can, if she's got the line, she can run into that stone on the button.
Looking heavy here though from Wang Wei. Does it chip the yellow far enough? It doesn't. It's a steal of 1 for Switzerland. What a comeback. They scored 3 in the 9th end. They stole in 10 and they steal again in the extra. And maybe it was the cowbells of the crowd that took them there.
Wow, what a performance from this veteran team to make that comeback. Is that the turning point Switzerland needed for the end of the round robin?
Huge win for Switzerland. And China, they draw up another game. They looked invincible earlier in the week. Is some of the steam running out of the Chinese train? I wonder. Still a few days left of the round robin. It is getting really interesting for those top 6 spots. Well, looking back on our future game this evening, was USA-Sweden. It was a fantastic game of curling. Won by Sweden in the end. Sixth end. USA and Jamie Sinclair with the chance to draw for 2. Draw looks pretty good. A little heavy, but will sit just in time for the deuce. They claw back. Sweden still up by the 1. In the 9th end, Sweden went really hard to get the force, ended up leaving USA with a chance to score 2 and get the lead in the game. The lead at 7-6 coming into the final end, where Sweden lying 3. Jamie Sinclair had to play the in-off to force a tough shot from Hasselborg, but Rex on the guard. Sweden won't have to throw. They pick up a 3 and they win the game 9-7. Those are all the games that were played this evening. Russia beat Germany 7-4. We saw the finish of that China-Switzerland game where the Swiss stole it in the extra to win 9-8. Also Japan beating Finland 10-4. And of course, Sweden beating USA as well. Now sitting again alone on top with 7 wins, 1 loss, followed by Russia on 7-2. Korea can join them as they're sitting on 6-2. China now dropping to 6-3, bringing Switzerland very much in the game. We have Canada, Japan, Scotland, and USA very much with a chance to make it into the top 6. Well, it's going to be interesting the next couple of days. We have the winning skip of Team Sweden, Anna Hasselborg.
Ready? Okay. Anna, congratulations on a huge win tonight. How does that victory feel?
Feels very good. I think we controlled the game in the first 5 and then we started to struggle a bit. So just controlling the last end was a really important thing for the team to go on to next games. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of your next games, you've got 4 more left here in the round robin and then likely off to the playoffs. What are your goals?
I think our goal right now is just to take 1 game at a time, because you say 4, that's more than we play in some of the tournaments like otherwise. So just 1 game at a time and 1 shot at a time, and just enjoy ourselves, and then reload for the playoffs when that's time for that.
And what are your hopes for the end of those playoffs?
like, of course, you want to finish strong. Of course, we want to finish on top, of course. But just like, as I said, one game at a time and one shot at a time, that's all you can control.
Super. Congratulations. It was a great win.
Thank you so much.
Well, that wraps up curling here this Wednesday in Silkeborg, Denmark. As you could hear Hasselborg say, there's a couple of days left of the round robin, lots of curling games left to be seen, and then we got playoffs for the weekend. Stay tuned for more from Denmark.